Shelling. President Zelensky is blaming Russia. The workers were in the war-torn region to deliver aid.
Companies who fail to protect customers from scams could face fines of up to $50 million under proposed new laws. Social media platforms, telcos and banks will be the first targets of the legislation. The federal government says too many Australians are losing money to scammers. 2/3 of older Australians able to pay more for aged care say they're happy to do so as long as the extra cost isn't lining the pockets of providers. The Older Persons Advocacy Network has released data following the introduction of Labor's Aged Care Reform Bill to Parliament. The opposition is urging the government to come up with a transition plan for the changes. Shadow Aged Care Minister Anne Ruston says it's important to get them right.
We've also demanded that the government refer it off immediately to a committee so that we can take this piece of legislation on the road around Australia to every state and territory, rural, regional and remote as well as metropolitan, so that we can get feedback from the Australians who are going to be impacted by this legislation.
A $1 million reward is still on offer in the search for answers on the disappearance of William Tyrrell. Today marks 10 years since the 3-year-old went missing from his foster grandmother's home on the New South Wales mid-north coast. An inquest into his disappearance will resume later this year. Criminologist Dr Xanthi Mallet says she's not confident it'll shed any more light on what happened.
I'm not sure that there's going to be any really new information that's elicited in the final part of that process. I would love to think that we will finally find out what happened to William and where he is, but ultimately I think there will be an open finding and the coroner won't be able to determine who was responsible for taking William.
Disgraced movie producer Harvey Weinstein has been hit with fresh sex crime charges. Details of the new allegations will remain sealed until the 72-year-old is brought before the court later this month. Weinstein is recovering from emergency heart surgery and didn't attend the hearing. He maintains any sexual activity was consensual. Well, all roads lead to Adelaide Oval tonight for footy fans. Mel Usher has more.
Port fans will be out in force for tonight's march from the Plaza. The pilgrimage to Adelaide Oval, ahead of the must-win semi-final against Hawthorn, leaves Festival Plaza at 6 p.m. The advice is wear the club colours and warm up your vocal cords.
Go to Power!
If you're making your own way there, gates open at Adelaide Oval at 5:30. The game is a sellout. It all gets underway at 7:10.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sports.
Visit gliderol.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. The teams are out for tonight's must-win semi-final clash between Port Adelaide and Hawthorn, with the Power making 2 changes. Ryan Burton is out injured while Jed McEntee's been dropped. They've been replaced by Josh Sin and Todd Marshall. Hawks veteran Luke Bruce will play his 300th game while Jai Sarong comes in for injured defender Sam Frost. The two sides have met just the once this season, resulting in a come-from-behind 1-point win for Port back in round 10. Hawks assistant coach David Hale says that loss was a learning curve.
Not so much 0-1. I think we had good learning opportunity from that game. Obviously, did plenty of things right that day, and unfortunately at the end we couldn't quite get the result. Hopefully it doesn't come down to the last quarter again. Finals are a different game and pressure situation, so hopefully we've learned a lot from that.
Australia's on the verge of another crack at Davis Cup finals glory. The team has won its second group stage tie in just 3 days with a 3-0 whitewash of the Czech Republic. Captain Leighton Hewitt says it was a great group effort.
Tanasi did great, came out, played fantastic. Pop was ready to go, but didn't get much of a chance. We know how important in this situation and this format is to try and win 3-0, so we certainly weren't letting up, and the boys, they knew that.
Adelaide United's through to the semi-finals of the Australia Cup competition following a dramatic extra-time win against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Scores were locked at 1-1 after full time before Ryan Kitto broke the deadlock. And Aaron Baddeley has made a great start at a PGA event in California, firing a 4-under round of 68 to put him only 3 shots off the lead. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
18 and partly cloudy today, partly cloudy and 17 tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's just 4 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Hey mate, I need a couple of 2x4s and 4x6s moved down over here.
Mate, why are you yelling?
Sorry mate, I'm just used to it.
There's no need to yell. In fact,
there's no need to do much at all thanks to the all-new electric excavator by Volvo. With no noise and no emissions, there's really no worries. Inquire today through Warren Mining and
Enjoy the sound of silence!
You wake up in the morning, there's 2 scam texts and a fake invoice email on your phone. It's the never-ending war against scammers. But Australian banks are fighting back. Intelligence sharing between banks will identify new types of scams faster. A new payment system to make sure you pay the right person is being rolled out. Unique identity checks will help combat identity theft. And there'll be more double checks when you're paying someone new. Australian banks are working to protect you.
At SEW Eurodrive, we understand things don't just go wrong between 9 and 5. Our renowned emergency breakdown service ensures constant motion of production lines and ancillary equipment 24/7. Visit sew-eurodrive.com.au.
Imagine getting behind the wheel of your own brand new car. Get your Hospital Research Foundation home lottery tickets now and you'll be automatically entered into 3 bonus draws. 3 winners each drive away with a brand new Range Rover Velar. Isn't it time you upgraded those wheels?
It certainly is. Plus, your tickets stay in more than 10,000 draws, including the Scott Salisbury home at Glenelg East. You could be living the dream mortgage-free, so don't miss out. The bonus deadline is midnight tonight.
3 winners, 3 Range Rovers. That's the Hospital Research Foundation home lottery. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. Find out more at homelottery.com.au.
Hi, Brady Bitt here from Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next-day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. And your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets the love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you.
Adelaide. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for sport. Jade Robran on the scene as it happens. Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Friday on 5AA Breakfast, Feedback Friday coming up a little bit later. Your last chance to get tickets to the Port game tonight, of course, too. Zach De Silva is going to be on the program. We will talk federal politics with Zach. Jade Robran is out and about. Lucy's going to review The Graduate after 6:30. I'm very much looking forward to that.
I don't know how this is going to go.
Oh, the review.
Good morning, everyone.
And good morning to you, David Penberthy. Meat Tray Friday, I was meant to say as well.
I jumped in.
No, that's all right. The meat tray, thanks to Chris and the team at Hayden's Family Butcher, Shop 52 in Burnside Village.
I'm like a dog that has to hear the bell before it eats the biscuit. I need Will to say, David Penberthy, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners.
Pavlov's dog.
Pavlov's dog. Who was Pavlov?
He was a
dog trainer.
He was a psychologist, wasn't he? Well,
what was the test?
He wrote in the early theory of psychology. Pavlov's dog would dribble before he ate. I think that was the thing he was talking about. Would exhibit the signs of. So
there was no bell. I just imagined that.
No. I think there was a bell because I think he rang the bell when he was about to feed the dog, and it got to the point where there was a psychological response to the bell ringing in even the absence of food because the dog would start dribbling.
Yeah, right.
So that's hence the idea of the Pavlovian response is some form of stimulus hits you and you react.
Yeah, right, okay.
Involuntarily.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the dog's body reacted as though it was about to eat, even once it got to a point where the association between the food and the bell was weak. I think. That's my shorthand version of Pavlov.
He tested the concept of the conditioned reflex.
There you go. That's the scientific version of it.
There you go. There you go. Well, you learn something every day, don't you?
Well, that's what the meat tray's about this morning. Call in and see Chris and the team, Hayden's Family Butcher, Shop 52 in Burnside Village. What's your Birdman David Hawk Penberthy style special subject?
I think it'd be a lot better if we were running this competition yesterday at this time as opposed to today, given that I didn't exactly set the world on fire.
I don't know.
Although, I told you at the end of the show yesterday I would be troubled by the result. Not in a Donald Trumpian sort of way, like I was robbed. More in I let myself down. But I reckon Eagles, Hawks have made it to Antarctica. Think about it.
Are you Ben Keysing the Hawks competition?
I am. There'd be plenty of food for them in Antarctica.
Okay.
And I think they can fly that far.
We'll take it up with our chief hawk researcher, Sam Daddo.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You can file a complaint.
A lot of
like.
Google searches during the ad break.
You can file a complaint.
And we're going to ring up that bloke and take the tickets off him.
What's your dumb area of expertise? What's your silly subject? What's something you know way too much about that?
Yours would be obscure economic theories, I reckon.
I think just obscure theories that don't really have a place in day-to-day conversation. Like
Pavlovian.
Like the McNamara principle.
Is that something to do with doubles tennis?
That's the McEnroe principle.
Always, McNamara.
No.
Always stand as far towards the sideline as possible. That's the McNamara principle.
The McNamara principle. I think about it in the context of football calling, but it has no place in a football call. The McNamara principle is the idea that we overrate statistics because they're things we can count and get your head around, and it came about because of a general in the Vietnam War reporting back to Congress.
McNamara.
They said to him, "Are we winning?" And he went, "Well, it's a bit like, are we ahead in the cricket?" You know? He said, "Well, we need a way to determine success here." So they came up. They said, "Well, the good measure of success in war is body count. Are we killing more of them, or are they killing more of us?" So they ended up building the whole strategy around this idea. Well, we're winning because we think we're winning. We're ahead on body count. And it turned out it was a really unreliable way to work out, are you winning the war? Are you winning hearts and minds?
Yeah.
What's the territory battle? What's your strategy? Are you able to credibly actually count that? And so by getting obsessed by this
Do we
figure,
want to keep fighting? That's the more
right.
important one.
Exactly, your will to continue the fight. By getting obsessed over this stat that turned out to be wrong, because it was the only thing they could count, they in large part lost the Vietnam War. And I think about it all the time when we go, well, so-and-so leads the league in hit-outs. Like, well, we can count that, but is that the most important thing? Or is it just the thing we can count?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you see how that has no place when the ball's on the half-forward flank in the
Crows
third quarter of round 7.
The Crows player who gets 30 touches and you didn't realise they were playing.
That's McNamara principle. Once upon a time, we were really into those kind of statistics. We've got better statistics now, but see, that's the kind of absolutely useless piece of information.
That was excellent. That was a terrific demonstration. And I thought it had day-to-day application.
Did it? What about I can take you through the Battle of Luktra next. That one doesn't have a battle.
The Battle of Luktra?
Yeah.
Was that in Poland?
No, that was the end of the Spartans in Greece when the Thebans crushed them.
Get this man on hard quiz.
Right-hand drift. You know what right-hand drift in the old Battle of Phalanx infantry was?
I would have thought that's a 10-pin bowling thing.
No, it's about which arm your shield was in and how armies tended to drift towards that arm. See, there you go.
My God. This is peak nerdling of stuff.
I'll tell you, my special subject is things that have no place in conversation.
I do Mexican history.
Yeah.
That'd be easy for me, because just, Yes. What was the great Paul Keating line he said to Barry Jones? You remember Barry Jones, who won Pick-a-Box and then became a Labor minister? He said something in Cabinet once, and Keating just shook his head. He goes, he's got a mind like a bird nest, that bloke. It's full of shit and twigs.
Yeah, that's a great quote. Warwick, what's your special stupid subject?
I can name every Olympic city and in what year they were held, and even the games that weren't held due to the outbreak of war.
That is a brilliant skill, mate. How did you develop that skill?
Oh, just because I'm a bit of an Olympic nerd, so I just thought, why not?
That is amazing. So, can you? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but which?
I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now if you want.
So, which were the cities that were going to have it during the war?
So, 1916 was Berlin. Obviously, they, crapped the bed in that regard there.
Yeah.
And then in 1940 was actually meant to be Tokyo, and obviously that wasn't going so well either. And then in 1944 was London, but then they obviously backed up for 1948.
So, because there were no games in 1940 or 1944, were there?
No 40 or 44. obviously 36 were the famous Nazi games.
Was
And they were the
that was
last-
Berlin, wasn't it?
That was Berlin, yeah.
Wow, that's a really good skill.
So if we just named a random year, Warwick, can you tell us what the Olympic Games was that year?
Go for it.
1928.
28 was Amsterdam.
Yeah, this guy's good. All right, 1912.
1912 was Stockholm.
Oh, this guy's a freak. This is excellent.
What a great skill.
Warwick, you're in... being the first caller through, you're obviously in pole position to win the meat show this morning.
That
but I
was
think
excellent.
That was a powerful demonstration of your special skill. I love it. Call in and see Chris and the team at Hayden's Family Butcher Shop, 52 Burnside Village. What's your special, silly skill or area of knowledge? Something you just know stupid stuff about.
I'm in awe at Warwick. It's just gone 6:15 and he's sprung out of bed and rattled off every random Olympics.
Brilliant.
Asking the dates like that out of context is the hardest test.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you can get on a roll when you're doing them in order.
Yes. That was great, Warwick. All right, keep calling in, 8223 0000. What is your special subject? What do you know too much about? Useful or useless, doesn't matter. We're going to take a break. News headlines are next.
When it comes to reducing pain and rebuilding strength, FIVEAA leaves nothing to chance. Our university-qualified health professionals don't just treat problem areas. They design personalised training programs using Swiss-engineered machines unique to FIVEAA. These machines safely isolate the affected area, test your strength, and help rebuild your muscles for a stronger, more active and healthier life. FIVEAA, building strength with precision in Norwood.
See movies how they should be seen. Hear movies how they should be heard. All on the big screen with Quake Sound at Wallace. And now you can see them for less and enjoy candy bar discounts and other special member offers and freebies. Simply become a My Wallace member today. It's free, it's easy and it's full of benefits. Go to wallace.com.au and click on Join My Wallace today. Wallace Mitcham, Mount Barker, Nollunga and the Piccadilly. South Australia's home of big screen magic and entertainment.
Sold by McGain again.
And because there's still limited homes available, it's really important to get along to these opens.
Tomorrow from 11 to 11:30am, Mike Dobbin and Zoe Ball are opening 61 Selway Terrace, O'Sullivan Beach. This beautifully updated 3-bedroom home on a neat, low-maintenance block features a spacious family room with solid timber floors and combustion heater, a renovated kitchen, renovated bathroom while ensuite access, plus an undercover entertaining area and plenty of off-street parking, 595 to 645k.
Then also tomorrow from 2:30 till 3, Mike and Zoe are opening 26 Sun Valley Drive, Glenalta. Built in 1965, this wonderful character home has stunning views through the tree-lined valley and only a short walk to Belair National Park. It's got 3 bedrooms, a sunken lounge, open-plan kitchen dining and solid timber floors, plus an undercover entertaining area, large stone paved patio and double-length carport. Best offers by September 25.
Take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at mcgain.com.au.
Here I am, I'm a man on the scene.
Kia's most awarded SUV just got better with the refined 7-seat Kia Sorento. Now with a dual 12.3-inch panoramic display and Kia Connect technology. The Kia Sorento. Visit kia.com.au to find out more.
Kia, movement that inspires.
AutoCam. Look, this is real cutting-edge stuff.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
Real-time video with a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Check this out. There's the problem, there's the quote, and here you go, approved.
So good. Totally transparent instant SMS approval and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, FIVEAA Breakfast.
21 minutes after 6, Sue on the Duttons text line can tell you the BSB number of every NAB in the state. We're getting some great...
How do you develop that skill? You must work at the NAB.
Must have worked at the NAB for many years.
That's amazing.
Thank you for that, Sue.
I remember Grant Stevens one day. He can still remember all the police call signs. We were talking to him about it here on air. Yeah. It was like all these random things like 501, 503, and it's like animal in distress, house fire.
Yeah. It's amazing the stuff your brain can absorb.
And it stays
time.
there.
And then the things that, as we've been contrasting against, you forget. Josh says, my special skill, weaving lines from the original Transformers cartoon into everyday conversation. That is exceptional, Josh. And I like this one from Rob, because Rob demonstrates this to us every morning on the Dutton's text line. He says, my expertise is to find a dad joke for almost every conversation I'm in. I sometimes lament that if my brain wasn't so full of that rubbish, what could have I achieved? Rob is one of our funniest texters.
That is excellent. That's brilliant.
All right, let's get into the news headlines on this Friday morning. Banks, telcos and social media platforms will be targeted by proposed anti-scam legislation. The federal government will today announce new laws which would fine businesses who don't do enough to protect their customers up to $50 million. Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones says too many Australians are losing money to scammers.
The whole thrust of this law is to prevent scams from happening, and when something goes wrong and if one of the businesses doesn't meet their obligations, then there'll be fines and penalties that can be applied, and there'll be pathways for compensation for consumers.
Hey, which businesses are we talking about here? Like, how does that work? Like, because most scammers aren't businesses, they're just scammers. Like the people who send you an email going, congratulations, you've won a Bunnings voucher, enter your credit card details. What company are they talking about there?
I imagine, without having seen the legislation, they're talking about companies, how they hold on to your data.
Right.
I would say.
So not like con jobs like the one I just mentioned, more just having your credit card ripped off.
Yeah, that's right.
Or your passport details.
Not storing them
driver's
safely.
license.
Or not doing enough to shut down, like the Commonwealth Bank example. Commonwealth Bank shuts down 20 to 50 fake Commonwealth Bank websites every week. Now, maybe there are other businesses that go, well, it's not my business to do the policing.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure. But right, because it does seem weird. It's a different onus of responsibility. We don't mask retail stores to, stop you getting mugged.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's a different world. There was a lucky escape for some Mannum residents overnight. CFS crews, police and paramedics were called to Charles Street to find the single-storey home ablaze. Those inside were evacuated. Firefighters managed to save neighbouring properties, but the home is badly impacted with an estimated damage bill of $400,000. The cause is being investigated. This is a sign of the times. The number of women choosing to freeze their eggs has doubled. Almost 7,000 women underwent the IVF treatment in 2022. It was 3,500 in 2020. Doctors say fertility preservation is on the rise, given the increased success rate of IVF. I think it's another byproduct of housing distress. People delaying having families.
Saving them for later.
That's right. These are the sorts of things I imagine people do when you're waiting to find a home. National property listings have increased for the fourth time in 5 months. Related story. Data from PropTrack shows capital city listings are the highest they've been since 2012. PropTrack Director of Economic Research, Cameron Kusher, says it's good news for buyers.
For people that are buying, it takes the urgency out of that buying process because people have a lot more choice, and even if they miss out on a property, I guess there's a confidence that something else will come onto the market in the not-too-distant future.
Might see prices soften as well once you get a bit more opportunity out there. People not holding on to properties tightly. 3 Red Cross workers have been killed, another 2 have been injured in a strike in Ukraine. The aid organisation has not identified who was behind the attack, but described it as unconscionable. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says it's yet another Russian war crime. This is interesting for people that have issues with needle phobias, which are fairly commonplace. Skin patches could soon replace needles for a whole range of vital vaccines. A patch, it's about half the size of a postage stamp, being tested in Melbourne at the moment to see if it is as good as, effectively, a needle at delivering vaccine for bird flu. There's that avian bird flu vaccine they're using to test.
So it's almost like a Nicorette patch.
Yeah, that's the model. It has tiny prongs that give the vaccine dose directly below the skin surface, but they're just working out, is it as effective? But that could be a needle-free future.
Wow. I wonder how many people do have needle phobia. It's funny, when you actually see the needle, I'm not scared of them, but I don't like it.
I never look at it.
Yeah, I looked at it going in the other day at the Red
you?
Cross, and I went, I shouldn't have done that because it made me feel a bit woozy.
Oh, no, I never would do that.
The thing too, those needles, they're bigger, they're thicker than normal needles because otherwise you'd be there all day.
Right.
So, but the nurse Was it Maria? Was it Maria? She was lovely. She was a gun. She's been doing it for years. But it didn't feel too bad. But you could see that in the hands of a novice, those needles
could
could
be less fun.
Be significant.
It is a cool one out there at the moment. Again, another cold start. 4.7 degrees in Adelaide right now, heading for a top of 18 today. Through what is going to be a dry patch. The footy tonight will be fine. Light winds become southwesterly, 15 to 20 k's in the middle of the day. They'll be light in the late afternoon, so it'll be perfect conditions for footy tonight. Saturday 17, Sunday 17. Monday 18, Tuesday 20, each of those days described by the Bureau simply as sunny. Then we get a bit of rain in the middle of next week. 23 the expected top on Wednesday with up to 4 mils of rain, so one of those really nice spring sort of days. Thursday drops down to 17 and up to 5 mils on that day. Let's talk about the footy though, because it's funny how the build-up to this one feels so different to last week. Tom Wren's in the studio with us. Visit gliderroll.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Still the Show promotion. I mean, this time last week, everyone in town's talking about the footy. The build-up was unbelievable. And the moment before the first bounce was just electric. Just given what happened and given the recent history of Port, it's a very muted build-up to a do-or-die final, isn't it?
It is, and I think there's that feeling of, oh God, here we go again. It could be straight sets. Hawthorn have been amazing. They've won 15 of 19 since they were 0-5. 2 of those games they lost. One was to Port when they led by 40. And lost by a point. Another was to GWS when they led by 28 at three-quarter time and lost by 2. They're the hottest team in the competition since that 0-5 start. On every metric, they're playing great football. The key to Port is, this is the art of coaching, right? This is the art of mental psychology. How do you unlock something? And you see it so often in elimination games, or when there's like a player that's injured in golf. I watch a lot of golf, as you guys know, and they've got an injury and they just play with the freedom, or if they just make the cut because they thought they were gone anyway. Or a side that is facing an elimination game in a best-of-7 series in America, and once they think we're gone, but we've got another reprieve, if they can unlock that somehow, there is hope. The crowd want to get involved. Port have to get the crowd involved early. Geelong last week did a brilliant job of snuffing out the crowd early and making them think, oh no, it's happening again. Somehow Port, Connor Rosie and his players have got to stand up and find a way to unlock that. If you knew the answer to that, you're a genius. You make a lot of money, but they've got to do it. There's no excuses. And they've got injuries. They've got another one with Ryan Burton. They've lost another half-back, but
another good kicking half-back.
Another good kicking half-back, exactly. But they've just got to find a way to get through this game.
Who's playing up forward?
Well, this is the other thing. They are very tall. And thank goodness you gave the weather wheel.
So is it Dixon and Marshall both in there?
Well, they're all in there. And then Georgiades as well, and Radaglia. So unless Radaglia shifts back, but they've got
Hawthorn aren't tall.
That's right.
Either forward, so.
Particularly with Frost out of the side too. They're not as tall, so maybe they're trying to expose them. But once the ball hits the deck, they are so quick, as you said. And look, unfortunately, it was the small forwards last week that cut Port to ribbons. So let's hope we don't see a carbon copy for Port's sake. Huge game, 2 changes. Sin, I don't mind Josh Sin. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I wonder whether Marshall maybe even be the sub. He's been named on the extended bench. That's a possibility. So we'll wait and see tonight, but huge game.
It is going to be massive. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
18 and partly cloudy today. With the 6:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Police are investigating a fire at a Plympton Park business last night. 20 firefighters were called to Bray Street just before 10:30, where smoke and flames were coming from an office in a commercial property that houses multiple businesses. They managed to stop the blaze from spreading to neighbouring businesses, but the damage bill is $35,000. A home at Mannum has been all but destroyed by fire. CFS crews, police and paramedics were called to the Charles Street property just after 10:30 last night. Residents at the home got out in time and fire crews managed to save neighbouring properties, but the damage bill is around $400,000. The cause is being investigated. A record number of drowning deaths have happened on Australian beaches in the last year. Gabrielle Hodson explains.
It's the highest number since Surf Life Saving Australia began collecting figures 20 years ago. 150 people headed off to the beach last financial year and never made it home. The Coastal Safety Report, released today, says lack of awareness of rips and unpatrolled beaches are part of the reason for so many drownings. International tourists accounted for 7% of deaths, a figure that Surf Lifesavers say is overrepresented, with people born overseas more likely to hit the beach than those born here.
The Red Cross has confirmed 3 of its workers have been killed and 2 others injured after heavy shelling at an aid distribution site in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has posted an image of a burning Red Cross truck, calling it another Russian war crime. The charity's president says our hearts are broken while they mourn dead colleagues and care for the injured. The truck had been getting ready to distribute wood and briquettes in the war-torn region. Donald Trump has declared there won't be another presidential debate, claiming he was the victor against Kamala Harris. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley.
Vice President Kamala Harris was widely viewed as the winner of this week's presidential debate. Not so, says Donald Trump. Having debated Joe Biden, now Kamala Harris, the former president, has taken to Truth Social to declare there will be no third debate. The Democratic candidate had this to say to supporters.
And I believe we owe it to the voters to have another debate.
The Harris campaign says it raised more money in the 24 hours after the debate than any single day since she first entered the race.
The wife of disgraced TV star and convicted pedophile Rolf Harris has died. Alwyn Hughes has died of stroke, fragility of old age and vascular dementia. She stood by Harris when he was sentenced to 12 years in jail for indecent assaults on 4 underage girls. Experts are calling for an overhaul of pain management of older Australians. University of Sydney researchers have found those over 65 are increasingly being prescribed antidepressants as a form of pain treatment. The university's Dr. Sayita Nareen says international guidelines don't take into account the harm the drugs can have on elderly populations.
There's a lot of trials that inform guidelines, but these trials don't necessarily include older people. So what's happening is evidence that is present in the younger population is being extrapolated for older people.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Visit gliderroll.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
Tom Wren, it's a massive night at Adelaide Oval.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it, Jess? The pressure's on, the countdown's on, and that's ahead of that semi-final clash between Port Adelaide and Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval. The match is set to be played in front of 50,000 fans, and the Power have made 2 changes, with Todd Marshall and Josh Sinn coming in for Ryan Burton, who's injured, while Jed McEntee's been dropped. Hawthorn Premiership hero Luke Bruce will play his 300th game. The 32-year-old needs just 2 goals to move into the top 50 all-time league goal kickers. Coach Sam Mitchell says Bruce's role has developed this year, starting as sub 11 times, acting as another coach on the bench.
The way we've used the sub this year has probably been a bit different. We've used it, as a bit of a coaching role, and he's been a phenomenal player for us when he's come on, but also on the bench he does add something.
In the AFLW tonight, Brisbane takes on Collingwood, and last night it was West Coast getting it done against the Bulldogs after they recorded an 11-point win. Let's go to soccer. Adelaide United's through to another Australia Cup semi-final after a thrilling 2-1 extra-time win against the Western Sydney Wanderers. That was played at Service FM Stadium here in Adelaide last night. Ryan Kitto netted the winner in extra time. Meantime, the Matildas will play their final 2 matches of the calendar year in Victoria, with friendlies against Chinese Taipei. They'll be played at Amy Park and GMHBA Stadium in December. And the Supercars Championship is shifting to endurance mode. Practice will get underway at Sandown today. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
18 and partly cloudy today, partly cloudy and 17 tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's just 5 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles, T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7. If you jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, we see a beautiful sunrise this morning. Not many clouds in the sky. Perhaps that's why it's under 5 degrees outside at the moment. Going to be a beautiful day ahead. Big day ahead too. All the build up to the do or die final tonight. Ryan Fitzgerald will give us his take a little bit later in the morning. We're also going to check in with Timmy G. I wonder how Timmy G's feeling. Nervous?
Tense.
Tense?
I think. He takes it very seriously, Tim, and rightly so.
He does.
True believer.
And he's lived through it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to chatting with him in just under an hour's time. All right, let's talk movies. And one movie in particular, because Lucy's in the studio. Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas. They have away a family pass yesterday as people voted for The Graduate. That's what Lucy watched. Morning to you, Luce.
Hello, 82230000 if you'd like to call in with your meat tray suggestions. We've got a bit of time to fill here because this review is very short.
Really?
Yes, so what's our meat tray for today? What's your hard quiz topic?
What's your silly knowledge area?
Love to hear your
Something
meat tray
you know
suggestions.
too much about.
We could take your calls in
Useless
approximately
knowledge.
I've got a bad
30
feeling about
seconds.
this, Luce. Luce sent me a text while she was watching it.
What did my text say, David? Would you like to read it out?
Yeah, I'll get it.
And Will, for you who's never seen this movie.
I'll call it up. It was about...
I texted David...
It's about Mrs. Robinson's conduct. It is, let's see...
The exact wording, if you would.
Why is Mrs. Robinson so predatory? And I wrote back to Luce, fair question, and she doesn't mind a drink either. And Luce wrote, 20 minutes in, I'm definitely uncomfortable. And I said, well, it only gets worse. And then I said, maybe I've made the fatal error, Caddyshack style, of raving about a movie you're going to hate.
Okay. Luce?
The soundtrack, great.
Loved
All the music to it.
Big tick.
Loved it. Good work, Simon and Garfunkel. Made in 1967. I can see why it would have been a comedy at the time. A lot of coming-of-age themes, comedic elements. Dustin Hoffman, pretty good. But on the whole, ridiculous movie. Hated it.
Oh!
1.5. Didn't even cut up any audio to play.
1.5. Where does that sit amongst the Lucy Logan Hall of Shame?
So down the bottom is Mad Max with a did not finish.
Yes.
Then there's no ones, but in the 1.5 category there's Days of Thunder and now The Graduate.
Why did you hate it? You got to say why you hated it. What did you hate about it?
It just irritated me. Dustin Hoffman's sort of, I was just so annoyed by all of it. And when he was like, I need to go home, and she's, no, you're trying to seduce me. No, I'm not. And then stands naked in front of him. I was like, come on, let him out. Let the poor bloke out. He just wants to go home. You've made him drive you there.
I don't know if he did want to go home.
He was confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the bit that really got me was then when her daughter got involved and she gave off a ridiculous scream at the sort of near the end point, and I was like, I'm out. I finished it.
I love the ending when they're in the back of the bus and Sounds of Silence starts playing and you don't know what's going to happen. I love the open-ended nature of it.
The ending was great because it ended.
See, I think the thing that made it good at the time, and I think still makes it good, is I think it's just a really good portrait of a young guy who doesn't really know what direction his life is going in. And that scene where clearly his parents and their whole circle of friends, he's so bored with his suburban existence. And when he gets in the scuba gear and sits on the bottom of the pool at his party, he's like, I just want to talk to these people. And he wants some excitement as well.
Yeah, but then what annoyed me was that his parents wouldn't allow that. They come and talk to these people. I was just so annoyed, and I'm sure I'll cop it on the text line. I don't care. Didn't like it.
Do you know why this segment's great? Because you hear things you've never heard in the history of movie reviews. No one in history at any point has compared The Graduate and Days of Thunder.
They're on a 1.5 star rating par.
It is it's the most unique reviews on planet Earth. I love it. That is superb. Thank you.
Good on you, Luce.
Without fear or favour, the most fearless movie reviewer in history is Lucy.
Yeah. If you want to call in and swear at me like someone did yesterday, be my guest. I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
It's critics. You're a critic. You got your take. It's hard to be brave. Lucy's brave.
Maybe it's a guy
I respect it.
I kind of like Mrs. Robinson.
I wasn't hating what I was hearing. I haven't seen the film. Somehow it was 1.5 and I thought, I need to check this out.
Exactly.
Let's take some calls. A few people want to talk about the weather. Colin, good morning.
G'day, mate. I'm just coming in from Rosebery. It's 2 degrees and the car's covered in ice. I get to Gawler and it's down to 1 degree.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's going to be cold, mate.
It is seriously cold out there. Caroline, was it Caroline? Said it was Greenock, minus 0.1 and frost. Graham in Craigmore, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I left Balaclava about an hour ago, roughly. It was minus 0.5.
Yeah, there's no cloud
0.5
at all out there looking out the window here, and it's going to be a lovely day.
You know what's interesting is that if you look around the rest of the country, the morning they're having is a bit more like the mornings we've been having up until these last 2 days. Everywhere else, Melbourne 11.3, Sydney 11.6, Brisbane 17, so a little bit warmer. They're all sort of those nice warmish mornings that we've been having, but we're back to a real wintry sort of start to the day, albeit ahead of what's going to be a pretty nice day.
Amount of text coming in about the meat tray topic. The meat tray, thanks to Hayden's Family Butcher, Shop 52 at the Burnside Village. It's going to be all done soon, Burnside Village.
It's a huge development, isn't it?
It's
I drove
massive.
past it the other day.
I reckon it's been going on for about 2 years. Traffic's a bit of a pain around there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm on that side of town too often, but usually my once every 2 months run out to Chili Mojo on McGill Road to buy tortillas, which takes me to the text here from Andy. I'd like Will to talk more about military history. This has been the most interesting show ever. He's a legend, much better than random Mexican cooking tips. Thank you for that, Andrew.
It's boring pretty quickly.
He does right, no offence, Dave. I like that text. And Brett, he says, hey guys, I'm on the same... I'm with Warwick, re-Olympic cities and years. I'm amazed that there's two of us with this useless talent. My favourite is 1920, which is Antwerp.
Wow.
This one's good. Anthony in Evandale says, hey guys, our son lives and works in Canberra and he can name every Australian Prime Minister in order and give a running commentary on them as you drive through the Canberra suburbs named after them.
Oh, I love that. That's a great skill.
So, in Canberra, there's Deakin, Barton, Menzies, Holt. I think they stop at Fraser. Is there a suburb called Fraser in Canberra?
Oh, so
is
it a true planning thing? If it grows further, does it become...
Some poor buggers are going to end up living in Rudd at some point. I should really let that go at some point, shouldn't I?
Great
really
text.
Don't like him at all.
Keep them coming in. Also, your Meat Tray Friday entries. Thanks to Chris and the team, Hayden's Family Butcher, Shop 52 in Burnside Village that we were just talking about a moment ago.
There's Scullin.
Yep.
Scullin's the Scullin government was the only government that lost after one term. That was in 1931, from memory. The only government since Federation that got voted out after one term.
So following a change of government.
Yeah.
Well, no Prime Minister has lasted long enough in the last 15 years to find out.
That's right. Yeah. But that's what the Libs are up against at this election.
All right, we'll keep them coming in. What's your stupid area of specific and useless knowledge? 8223 You can text us on the Dutton's text line, of course, inspired by the exploits of the Birdman David Penberthy over the last 48 hours.
This is the least surprising one ever, Con, because we know your love of the World Game. He says, the trivia cluttering my mind is that I can name every World Cup winner since 1930. Starting with, Will, first winner of the World Cup.
Uruguay?
Uruguay, correct.
Con should be delighted. We should mention, too, in Con's honour, Adelaide United got up last night to the semi-final of the Australia Cup, had a extra-time winner against Western Sydney. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads looking A-OK today. Pretty fresh for the drive-in, but no great dramas, which is good. We have a burst waterway to look out for at Northfield, Green Junction Road near Rowe Avenue. Got speeds at 40, but no great delays there. Bit of activity at Brooklyn Park, which is sluggish. Marion Road near Wixton Parade, and got speeds reduced for activity at Payneham too. She's always slow there on the drive-in. Port Rush Road near Rosella Street. Early morning cameras. No rest price for the wicked. Dawes Road, Door Park and Everard Avenue at Keswick. Discover the MG ZST from just $25,990 drive away, backed by MG's 10-year warranty. Visit your local dealer today. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
It feels like finals this weekend. The 2024 Host Plus SANFL League Final Series are taking over Adelaide Oval this Sunday. See Central take on Glenelg in a win-or-go-home preliminary final at 3:15pm. The winner will see Norwood in a huge grand final next weekend. There's also the SANFL Under-16 and Under-18 grand finals beforehand. And there's free entry for the kids. Head to the Host Plus SANFL League Final Series this weekend. Learn more at sanfl.com.au/finals. The Host Plus SANFL League Final Series.
Nothing beats the SANFL!
Hold on to your tool belts because today is the day, folks. Today is demo day at Toolkit Depot Mile End. The team at Toolkit Depot have gone all out to showcase the very latest tools and outdoor gear just in time for spring.
All the big brands will be on show in the Toolkit Depot Mile End car park, including Milwaukee, Makita, Bosch and DeWalt.
You'll have a chance to try the latest mowers, line trimmers, hedges and other outdoor gear.
And they'll have fantastic battery deals too, including product demos, giveaways and a free sausage sizzle.
Today is Toolkit Depot Demo Day, so don't miss it. 11am to 4pm only at Toolkit Depot Mile End, 175 Railway Terrace.
Have you heard about the sunrise swim banana? Or the morning stroll banana? The kicking goals banana? The rowing banana? The mowing banana? The frisbee throwing banana? Well, now you have. You see, whatever you think, there's a banana to make your body sing.
Are you ready for this? Let's go! Mawson Lakes Mazda is going all out for the biggest sales event of the year, the M Event. It's 1 week of Adelaide's best deals on the entire Mazda range. All models and colours, low-K demos, all ready for immediate delivery. Get motivated, get mobilised and get your butt moving because the M Event is for 1 week only. Mawson Lakes Mazda's huge M Event for 1 week only, so don't miss it. Just a short drive from the city.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 7, Fitzy in a moment. Does he think Port get up? Does the final stream go on? We'll find out very shortly. First, let's talk about the weather. Everyone is, because it is cold out there. Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau joins us. Simon, another cool start, but still no rain on the agenda.
No, that's right, Will. Good morning, everyone. Pretty chilly start again this morning. We've been down to 4.3 degrees for our minimum so far in the city. Even colder about the northern suburbs. Parafield down to 1.3 degrees. Edinburgh 1.1. Barossa Valley, very chilly though. I think I saw Nuriutpa has been down to minus 0.7, and over a little bit further north, Snowtown minus 1.4. So some pretty cold spots this morning. Look on the satellite picture, a bit of cloud about the Mount Lofty Ranges, so it hasn't been quite so cold about the hills this morning compared with yesterday, and a little bit of that cloud pushing over the Adelaide Plains. But I expect we'll see plenty of sunshine once the sun gets up a little bit more and warms things up. Staying dry. That's not expecting any rainfall today, and the winds. Generally pretty light to start off with, east to southeasterly in direction. I think we'll see them turn around a little bit southwesterly for a period through the afternoon and then become generally light southeasterly through the evening. For our maximum temperature today, expecting 18 degrees in the city, 18 as well for Elizabeth and 17 degrees for Glenelg, Mount Barker and Noarlunga. So for the footy tonight, the winds should be pretty light, I think mostly clear, but we will see a little bit of cloud push up from the south in the evening, but remaining dry, and it will be cool, expecting temperatures around the start of the game around 12 or 13 degrees, dropping down to around 9 or 10 degrees by the end of the game. So pretty cool conditions watching, but good weather for the footy, I reckon, tonight, guys.
Good stuff, Simon. Simon Timke there from the Weather Bureau. Thanks, mate. Have a great weekend.
All right, let's head to Safe Bowl. Senior Constable Peter Williams is on the line. Peter, there's been a shop fire at Plimpton Park overnight.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Just after 10:20 last night, emergency services were called to Bray Street after reports of smoke and flames coming from a
business premises there. Upon arrival, police found the rear of the business engulfed in flames. The MFS quickly brought it under control, preventing any further damage to surrounding properties. Bray Street was temporarily closed to traffic, but has since reopened, and that was closed while fire cause investigators and Southern District detectives attended the scene, as determined the cause of the fire to have been deliberately lit. So investigations are ongoing. It's only early in that investigation, but anyone with any footage or anyone who can assist is asked to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Peter, also there was a robbery at Seaview Downs just after midnight.
Yeah, the Southern District detectives have been kept pretty busy. Just after 12:30 this morning, they were called to a petrol station on Seacombe Road following reports of a robbery, where they will allege that a man smashed the service station window with a large axe and demanded cash and cigarettes. The staff member complied, and the suspect took those items, fleeing on foot down Neath Avenue. Patrols quickly arrived, set up cordon search to the area, but were unable to locate the suspect. He's described as 180 centimetres tall, slim build, wearing all black clothing, a black face mask and glasses. Fortunately, the employee was not physically injured during the incident, and police are urging anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers.
And finally, Peter, there was a crash at St Agnes at around 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so 3:50 this morning, emergency services were called to Tuvas Avenue at St Agnes after a white Holden station wagon had crashed into a letterbox. Police arrived quickly and found the vehicle was lodged into the brick letterbox, had to remove that letterbox before they were able to assist the driver of the vehicle. Thankfully, the driver of the vehicle, a 46-year-old man from Valley View, sustained only minor injuries. He was taken to hospital for treatment, and the investigations of that, again, are ongoing. There'll be some blood results coming from his tests that he would have had while he's at hospital, and anyone who witnessed it or has CCTV, we asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
Bit going on there. Pete Williams, Senior Constable from SAPOL. Thanks very much, mate. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Well, everyone's mind's on the footy tonight. Finals action, Port Hawthorn, Adelaide Oval, and to break it all down for us, our finals and footy guru himself, Ryan Fitzgerald. Thanks to the great people at Macca's. The Monopoly game is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22. Morning to you, Fitzy.
The question is, boys, is this Ken Hinkley's last game at Port Adelaide?
Well, that actually, in all seriousness, is pretty much the question, isn't it?
Well, this is what the players need to ask themselves. I've been a fan of Ken for years. I think what he's done with the club has been unbelievable. Unfortunately, they haven't got the ultimate prize, but I think he's done an amazing job. But you know what? The character of the players, and we will see the bond that they have with Ken Hinkley tonight. I think within the first 10 minutes of this game, just to see if they're actually switched on this time and if they're chasing down the opposition. So it's massive. It's such a huge moment in the history of the Port Adelaide Footy Club because he is their longest serving coach, isn't he? He's been there longer than Choco. So are the boys behind him or aren't they? So I'm so fascinated to see what happens in tonight's game.
That game last week for Port fans, it was a chilling flashback to 2007. I mean, it wasn't far off 119. Crazy.
Oh, they just, I don't know. And look, there's a few things that go wrong in these games, and I know finals are next level, but they just looked like they were struggling more than Jeremy Cordeaux behind the wheel. So they need to rebound tonight, and they need to show us. They need to show us what they've been showing us for the last couple of months, because they finished off the year so well, Port Adelaide. They have one of the best midfields the comp has got, so they need to step up. They need to step up. I didn't think I was going to get that in.
I didn't think they were going that badly.
Surely they can't get away with it 4 times. Hey, what do you think the chances are, Fitzy? I know the editor of Melbourne's Herald Sun newspaper, and I can tell you that bloke, if it ends up being a Sydney v GWS grand final, he is going to go to Young and Jackson and drink about 20 pints, because you won't be able to give a copy of the Herald Sun away in Melbourne if it's an all-Sydney final. But it's a chance, isn't it?
Well, do you know what the ultimate grand final for the AFL is? Sydney versus Brisbane, because then you get the Queensland market, the New South Wales market. You're always going to get the Victoria, South Australian, WA market. So that's what they want. But I honestly believe, boys, my prediction is I think GWS are a bloody good side, and they should have won that game last week. That was the best game of football I have seen in such a long time. Like, for 3 quarters, they dominated Sydney and they played some amazing football. But for Sydney to hold, not let it get away from them, and just to peg them back goal by goal, and to see the performances of Warner, Goulden and Heaney. But this is what I'm saying about Port Adelaide. This is where you need Rosie, Butters and you need Horne-Francis to just lift the team on their backs and get them over the line. So I honestly believe that GWS will play Sydney again in the grand final, and I reckon GWS will beat them at the MCG.
If we get a game like that, that'd be an absolute delight. Just on Zach Butters, he'll be a huge part of the action tonight. You ever did a rib injury in your time, Fitzy?
I have fractured a rib before, and let me tell you this, I would not be suiting up tonight. His toughness has been questioned during the week, but I don't think you can take that away from him. I know that it is a final and you need to maybe just get a jab and move on, but it is, for anyone that's experienced that, it is so painful just to breathe, let alone go in for a tackle or to shepherd a teammate. He's going to do it tough, and I dare say that Hawthorn will target him tonight, so that'll be interesting.
Who wins it, Fitzy?
Unfortunately, I think I just can't go from Hawthorn's game plan, and I just love the way that they're playing. They're so good to watch. So Ross Lyon, all those coaches, defensive coaches that are out there, if you want success in 2025, and I hope Nixie goes down this road as well, this is the style of footy that you need to start implementing in your team, because attack, I know defence is your number one mantra, but you need to attack if you're going to have any success in September.
Good on you, mate. We'll catch up again next week. Cheers, mate.
Good on you, boys. Thank you.
Ryan Fitzgerald, thanks to the great people at Macca's. The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Download the My Macca's app to peel, scan and play. Ends October 22.
Are you turning up the TV volume more? And more? And more? It's time to love your ears and show those around you some love too. Audica has opened new hearing clinics in Glenelg, St Agnes and Golden Grove, continuing their mission to help more people hear better. If you're over 26, you can book a free hearing check today at audica.com.au. Book your free hearing check today. Love your ears at Audica.
Signs you may have Big D envy. You've been invited to a mate's house to watch the footy, but you decline. Another mate's having a birthday bash. You make up an excuse not to attend. And finally, you feel like your partner is comparing what you have to what your mates have. Avoid Big D envy. Get in touch with Big Difference Home Improvements. From outdoor blinds to stunning verandas, pergolas, timber decking and carports, Big Difference Home Improvements will change your life. BigDifference.com.au.
CMAX Clinical Research are looking for healthy volunteers to participate in a new trial. The purpose of this study is to test the safety and tolerability of a potential vaccine for Alzheimer's disease. Spend one night at CMAX and attend 7 follow-up visits. If eligible, you'll be paid for your time upon completion. Get involved or learn more about the Alzheimer's vaccine trial by visiting cmax.com.au. That's cmax.com.au.
AI, it's a game changer. It's a new era in computing. To find out what it means to you, we've got a Harvey Norman Next Gen AI expert to tell us more. Tom, time starts now.
Okay, AI is a technology that makes life easier. The Snapdragon X Elite processors make this all possible.
How?
Multi-day battery life, enhanced security and productivity for a start, but there's much more. Our Next Gen AI experts at Harvey Norman will show you. So come see us.
Next Gen AI at Harvey Norman.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
18 and partly cloudy today. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
3 Ukrainians working for the Red Cross have been killed. As the BBC's James Waterhouse reports, they were about to deliver wood and briquettes in the war-torn region.
This certainly looks like a severe situation. 2 people have been injured, 3 killed. A team from the International Red Cross were giving out coal and fire to a village which really is close to the front line. And when you're within 10, 20 kilometres, there's always the looming threat of either drone or missile attacks or artillery strikes as well. It's a reminder of the risks. The Kremlin has yet to respond. It's not being reported inside Russia on state TV there, but it's certainly a bleak day for those humanitarian teams that continue to work in really quite dangerous parts of the conflict zone.
There was a lucky escape for some Mannum residents overnight. CFS crews, police and paramedics were called to Charles Street to find the single-storey home ablaze. Those inside evacuated. Firefighters managed to save neighbouring properties, but the home is badly impacted with an estimated damage bill of $400,000. The cause is being investigated. Self-funded retirees and some part pensioners will be slugged with higher aged care fees under major reforms. Federal politics reporter Zach De Silva.
After weeks of negotiations, Labor has introduced landmark aged care reforms into federal parliament. The overhaul will see fees go up, but it'll be means tested, so wealthier Australians will bear the brunt of the increase. Aged care Minister Annika Wells has told Parliament it's about making the sector more financially sustainable.
A new foundation for aged care that makes financial sense.
The opposition's Anne Ruston is supporting the broad principle of the changes, but says they'll need to be scrutinised closely.
This issue has been veiled in secrecy for way too long.
More than $4 billion will also be spent on a new home care program.
Scam victims could receive compensation from banks, telcos and social media companies under proposed reforms. The federal government is announcing new laws which would require businesses to do more to protect customers. Those who don't comply could be fined up to $50 million. The number of women freezing their eggs for IVF has doubled in just 2 years. Gabrielle Hodson has more.
Data collected by the University of New South Wales shows almost 7,000 women across Australia and New Zealand froze their eggs in 2022, up from just 3,600 2 years before. Experts have told SMH The Age that IVF is changing, with greater rates of success, more fertility preservation and more non-traditional families taking it up. Among women choosing to freeze their eggs for future use, 38% did so for non-medical reasons, such as not having a partner.
The March from the Plaza returns tonight. Mel Usher has the details.
It'll be a case of deja vu, with the Port Faithful marching from Festival Plaza to Adelaide Oval from 6 tonight to watch their club play finals footy. But this week, they want a win. It's semi-final time with the Power up against Hawthorn. The first bounce is at 7:10. Adelaide Oval Express bus, train and tram services will be in operation, and it's free for AFL game ticket holders until the last service.
Now time for 5AA Sport.
Visit gliderroll.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
And Tom Rand, the excitement is building.
It definitely is. There's anticipation, that's for sure, Jess, but they're going to have to turn it on and turn it around after last week. The Power have made a couple of changes. They've brought in defender Josh Sin for the first time since round 16, while forward Todd Marshall is also back in the side for that clash against the Hawks. The pair come in for Ryan Burton, who's injured, while Jed McEntee has been dropped. The Hawks have made one change, with Jai Sarong coming in for Sam Frost, who's out with a foot injury. It's season over for the loser, while the winner will progress to next week's prelim final against Sydney. Meantime, just the one change for tomorrow night's other semi-final clash, which is being played between GWS and Brisbane. Toby Bedford coming in for Toby McMullen for the Giants. Still on footy, Eagles AFLW coach Daisy Pearce has praised her squad's resilience following their 11-point win over the Bulldogs. West Coast were behind until halfway through the second quarter before kicking 5 of the last 6 goals in the game at Whitten Oval last night. Pearce says the team's maturity was on full display.
I thought the effort to work through a really hot start from the Bulldogs and go 2 goals down again. Last week it took us till quarter time to respond, but for them to be able to tighten up and kind of get it back going our way early in the quarter was a good result.
Let's go to other sport. Adelaide United has beaten the Western Sydney Wanderers 2-1 in extra time in their Australia Cup quarter-final clash overnight. The NRL finals get underway this evening with the Penrith Panthers taking on the Sydney Roosters. Incredibly, the Panthers are looking to make it 4 straight premierships in a row. And Aussie Aaron Baddeley's off to a strong start at a PGA Championship in California. He's fired a 4-under round of 68, which puts him in a tie for 6th and only 3 shots behind American leader David Lipsky. Fellow Aussie Minwoo Lee is halfway through his round and is currently at even par. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tommy. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Beautiful looking morning and pretty good on the roads too. Shouldn't have too many hassles getting where you were going. Do have a burst of water made at Northfield, Grand Junction Road near Roe Avenue. Got speeds at 40, but no great delays there. A little bit of activity to keep in mind at Melrose Park, South Road near Dawes Road, and speeds reduced at Payman this morning. That's for those woods. Portrush Road near Rosella Street, always slow on the way into the city. Early morning cameras at Dawes Road, Door Park, and Port Road at Alberton today. Honda's mid-size SUV clearance is now on. Get 8 years warranty and roadside assist, plus a $1,000 fuel card and 23 built Honda ZRV and CRVs. Hurry now, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
18 and partly cloudy today, partly cloudy and 17 tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's 6 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I'm chatting with Beck from Maxima about the employment services they provide for NDIS customers.
Thanks, Matthew.
Can you start by giving us a quick overview?
Maxima is a national for-purpose employment services community organisation. We support all job seekers in finding work, starting an apprenticeship or traineeship, as well as those seeking a career change. We also have specialised programs for people living with a disability, injury or a health condition, in addition to employment supports for people on the NDIS.
Tell us more about NDIS employment supports.
We support NDIS customers of all ages in finding employment by helping them develop the right skills, explore a range of work experience opportunities and job placements, and once employed can provide ongoing support to them and the employer through our Disability Employment Service team. For more information, give us a call on 1300 629 462 or go to our website and we'll be able to support you.
Thanks, Beck. Let Maxima help you reframe what's possible.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 7.
How good's this song?
Friday the 13th today, for those that are superstitious.
Ooh. Not sure what that sound was. I tell you what, there's a lot of love for Lisa's absolute panning of The Graduate on the Duttons text
She's got
line.
a bit of support.
Yeah, Kaz and Brompton. Andrew, he's and a lot of advocacy that next week Uncle Buck has to be reviewed, regardless of what year it was or what film it's up against. Everyone's saying Uncle Buck.
Unbelievable rearguard action for Uncle Buck yesterday. The first time a film has almost won the Movie Bowl vote category, despite not being one of the films that anyone could vote on. It is cold out there this morning, folks. Just got a text from the member for Chafee, Tim Whetstone, who makes the point the Frost fans are out in the Barossa this morning because frost is a real concern. We got people texting us in about frost where they are, and the big reason is you can see it on the iPhone on a stick this morning, Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. There's not a lot of cloud cover, so it is just cool out there. Heading for a top of 18 today. Should be a fairly reasonable sort of day once we get there, but yeah, you've got to navigate the morning when it is going to be fairly cool. Let's navigate what's one of the biggest stories in Australia at the moment, and I think it won't get the prominence or the length of discussion that it otherwise would because both major parties have agreed. It's funny how this happens in federal politics. If there's a bung fight about something, it feels like the most important issue in the world because it'll drag on for months. When it comes to reform of the aged care sector, they both broadly agreed on what needed to be done, and henceforth it'll be a 24-hour news cycle, but it's going to affect a lot of our listeners and a lot of families of listeners to our program. So we want to have a little bit of a closer look at this.
It's not going to affect anybody currently in aged care.
Not currently in aged care, that's right. This is going to affect people into the future, though. Here's how it's going to work. So self-funded retirees and part pensioners will effectively have to pay more for aged care at home or if you're in a residential facility. So both major parties, as I said, supported this. The maximum people contribute has gone up. So right now it's a lifetime cap of $79,000. It'll go up to $130,000. The additional money would help support people staying at home. They want more people to stay at home. They will have more funds for people who require wheelchairs, people who require walkers and assistance like that. There'll be $15,000 granted to eligible recipients for house modifications such as ramps. So a huge part of this is about charging people more for care, but also providing more at-home care for people to stay in their homes for longer. As a taxpayer investment, it's a really interesting picture. So the government spends $5.6 billion upfront, including a $4.3 billion boost for extra home care places. The idea is that over the course of the next decade or the next 11 years, that actually saves the budget $12.6 billion. From July 1, new residents with more than $238,000 in basic assets or more than $95,400 in income will make extra contributions towards the basic daily fee for residential aged care. It was interesting hearing someone in the sector talk about this. Over the course of the next decade, we're going to need hundreds of thousands of more aged care beds. 200,000 plus. There is not one being built in Australia right now.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the point that Chris Picton made the other day. And, you know, some people go, oh, it's just an excuse. Well, it is true. From memory, didn't he tell us that there are currently 270 older people in public hospital beds in South Australia who are actually well enough to leave hospital now, but don't have anywhere to go because they can't get into an aged care facility where they would have a nurse to look after them.
That's right.
But they don't need to be in hospital.
Yeah.
But they need some sort of second level care, that the sort of care you get in an aged care facility, and there's nowhere for them to go.
Here's the aged care minister, Annika Wells.
Australians will get the support they need and make a reasonable contribution according to their means.
A huge change, but won't get the huge level of scrutiny, as I say, because everyone agrees to it. So it's happening, and it will receive the support of both the major parties.
I tell you what, though, if you're a more, not now, but down the track, a lot of people are going to end up getting pushed into this category. So people have done the right thing by trying to put all their money into super so that they're not going to ever have to live off the government. You know, fully self-funded retirees with no pension. If you've got $70,000 in other income, which is reasonably standard annual superannuation sort of living allowance, so $70,000 a year, and your house is valued at $1.6 million. How many houses in 10 years' time are going to be valued at $1.6 million?
Well, yeah. Well, the median,
almost all of them?
Yeah, the median now is what, 800,000 plus.
So people who are out on their own, not on the pension at all, their annual rate for aged care is going to go from $49,000 to $62,000. So that's a huge increase for them.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Big story. If you've got a thought on it, we'd love to hear it. 8223 000. You can text us on the Dutton's text line. This one's intriguing. I mean, maybe it's inevitable. It seems sad to me. As part of the merger of the University of Adelaide and UniSA, the new institution will... I love it. The spin on this is great. I wish Matt Abraham could sing his team this. Maximise flexibility for students. They'll only offer limited in-person lectures. Instead, this is unbelievable, being offered asynchronous digital activities.
Asynchronous?
Asynchronous digital activities.
What does asynchronous even mean? What's the definition of the word asynchronous? Like non-synchronised? What is it?
Well, I guess you could watch the lecture at your own convenience.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to all be sitting there at the same time watching it live. This week's lecture material will be on whatever it might will be.
So you don't have to
liberal democracy, but you don't have to be there at Monday at 9 a.m.
Yeah, right.
It'll be released that week. I imagine that's what they're saying. A staff website on the merger says rather than lectures, students will be self-paced and self-directed, utilising high-quality digital resources that students can engage with anytime and anywhere. It sounds like a huge shift, unless you speak to someone who's at uni at the moment, and it will shock you. For what the kids these days are paying, how limited their actual face-to-face time with any expert is it's jaw-dropping. So they're just making what's currently happening official policy, and I reckon it's really sad.
Isn't there a bit of a broader social question? How are we ever going to meet people these days? Because you can do all of your uni in your spare room. You got all of your friends who are on Facebook out there in the digital ether somewhere. Hundreds of friends who, you know, a lot of them you never actually see in real life. Then when you get a job, you can work from home.
Why do you need acres of prime real estate as well if no one turns up?
That's a good question. But I wonder if have we got any older, more experienced academics or teachers who are listening? Because I've got really fond memories of there were some lectures at Adelaide Uni in the 1980s that were so good that people who weren't even studying that subject would come and listen to them. There was a guy called Professor Austin Goff who taught French history, and he was such a beautiful lecturer. He was a very elegant man. He always wore a three-piece suit, had a goatee, looked like if you drew a picture of an academic, you draw a picture of the late Professor Goff. He gave this lecture with all of these wonderful slides about Haussmann, the planner who redesigned Paris in the mid-19th century, and his plans for Paris. And people who weren't even in that subject would come and listen to it. Now, how do you replicate that on Microsoft Teams?
Well, this is interesting. So we just got a text from someone anonymously, and we always appreciate texts from people in the know. Maybe we're mistaking the chicken for the egg here. This person on the Dutton's text line says, guys, I work there, and I know that most lectures are empty. Scott Theatre, with a capacity of over 500, frequently has fewer than 10 attendees.
Wow.
So, are they responding to what the clientele wants?
Well, maybe we can turn the Scott Theatre into an aged care facility.
Well, this is what I wonder. Seriously, it's the best real estate in town.
Yeah, totally. Seriously, that's actually not a bad idea. If all these unis are going to be empty, maybe the Bragg laboratories can be used to house pensioners instead.
Something pretty remarkable happened high above our heads overnight as well. A 4-person crew of civilians conducted the first ever spacewalk by non-astronauts. First time it's ever happened. SpaceX, that's the Elon Musk company, the Polaris Dawn mission, unlocked the hatch of their capsule. They depressurized the cabin, so everyone was effectively out in space. 2 people actually conducted a spacewalk. It's historic. It's the first time that people outside of trained astronauts and NASA have done this. Well, NASA and their equivalents around the world. It's travelled further than in space than any human since the Apollo program over 50 years ago. The people on board the Polaris Dawn mission. They've also said about one of the big experiments they were conducting was new spacesuits. Everyone pictures spacesuits being the big bulky thing from Neil Armstrong was wearing, and you go back in that time. They're trying to make spacesuits look like normal clothes. So if you look at this Polaris Dawn video that's come out overnight, they're wearing very thin material that is part of something SpaceX are wanting to do because it's way cheaper, and it's all about trying to improve the economy of space.
In 50 years' time, whoever is hosting the 5AA breakfast show will probably be doing a live read for Phil Hoffman Travel about trips to Mars. Oh, Barry and I went to Uranus over summer. It was fantastic.
I think it'd be a long trip.
Yeah, that would probably take a bit too long.
You're right, maybe. But at low Earth orbit.
Yeah, that's right.
You could spend 6 months on the way to the moon if you were, well-to-do.
Forget river cruising in Budapest. This is the future of travel. Wow. No way would I do that. You'd do it, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't do the depressurising the hatch to be the first guy to test the new suit, I can tell you.
Yeah, you feel a bit like that dog. What was it, his name? Laker?
Oh, the Russian dog. It was like a one-way mission.
Never came back.
We salute your
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
A lot of chimps gave their lives too, didn't they?
They did, yep. The bit of breaking news out of the US. Do you want to hear the latest on whether we get another debate? Here's Kamala Harris from just a couple of hours ago.
And I believe we owe it to the voters to have another debate. Because this election and what is at stake could not be more important.
So that was Kamala Harris a couple of hours ago at a rally. Donald Trump has tweeted out, it was either a tweet or via Truth Social, he made the point, after a boxing match, only the loser asks for a rematch. And then he went on to publicly say this.
As everyone saw 2 nights ago, we had a monumental victory over Comrade Kamala Harris in the presidential debate. We won big with independent voters, moderates, Republicans, and working people all across this nation, putting forward a clear vision to, very simply, make America great again.
He went on Fox, he phoned in to Fox and Friends. Always gets a fair hearing there. the other night, straight after the debate. I was watching it live, and he said then flat out, no, that I won't do another one.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do another one.
No.
Which I tactically understand. He's got nothing to gain from a debate.
No. Well, the expectations for her were lower than they were for him.
That's right.
No.
All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. Beautiful looking morning, and she's pretty good on the roads too, so no great dramas. Do have a burst water main to look out for at Northfield, Green Junction Road near Rowe Avenue. Speeds at 40, the left-hand lane close. We're not seeing too many delays. Works at Edwardstown to keep in mind. Cross Road near Railway Terrace, and speeds at 40 at Paynham. Port Rush Road near Rosella Street. Always slow throughout the morning. Cameras Doors Road, Door Park, and Hawker Street at Brompton today. Make the most of Volkswagen's ultimate Amarok sale events in the Amarok Core from 56,990 drive away with a free 5-year care plan. Ends September 30. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Thrilled to be chatting about John Martins. I'm with Paul Flavell, who has written a book, The Story of South Australia's Beloved Department Store. Why did you feel it was so important to write a book about Johnny's?
Do you know, it's the look you get in Adelaide when you mention John Martins.
Yes.
Matthew Pantelis.
That look of nostalgia and instant memories, I had to capture that and put into a book before it was too late.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It's your last chance. You could win a new car. Get your Hospital Research Foundation home lottery tickets by midnight tonight, and you'll be in 3 bonus draws for a Range Rover Velar. Plus, your tickets stay in more than 10,000 draws, including the $3.9 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize home in Glenelg East. Life-changing prizes. Life-changing impact. homelottery.com.au. Licence M145585.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now more than ever, you need an agent who's not just out for a quick sale. You need someone who can stand their ground to ensure you're maximising your home's potential. There's a good reason Toop and Toop is defying market trends and continuing to deliver premium outcomes for its clients. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
The Honda midsize SUV stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and 8 years roadside assist, plus a $1,000 Ampol fuel card on 2023 build Honda ZR-V and CR-Vs. Visit us at Formula Honda to test drive today. Ampol fuel card offer valid until September 30. Different warranty applies for vehicles used for commercial purposes. T's and C's at honda.com.au. Hurry into Formula Honda. Find us at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond, or North East Road, Modbury.
Nearly 1 million Australians get a pathology test every week. Almost all these tests, like blood tests, are free because they're bulk billed. 70% of all medical decisions rely on pathology tests. Doctors depend on them to diagnose illness, disease and infection. But these services are under threat. So to keep pathology accessible for all Australians, we need funding to keep pathology bulk billed. We need our voice to be heard. Visit keeppathologybulkbill.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology Canberra.
This is a winning season update for the Monopoly game at Macca's. Peel, scan and play today. That's how everyone is playing for a 1 in 4 chance to win. And who can blame them with $753 million in prizes up for grabs this year?
It is a genuinely massive prize pool. It includes 3 Isuzu MUX SUVs, TCL home entertainment packages, tens of thousands of dollars worth of Amazon.com.au gift cards, or even free Maccas for a year.
Download the My Maccas app to play today. More updates to come. Ends October 22. For full terms, visit mcdonalds.com.au.
SA's own Respirico Healthcare has been supporting South Australians for 20 years. Our goal is to make a positive difference in people's lives with our daily living range. Aids to help with small tasks around the house, to mobility scooters and custom wheelchairs. We also have pressure care beds and mattresses, hoists and lifters, recliner chairs, compression garments and more. Everything you need to maintain your independence and stay active in the community. That's how you start making a positive difference. Respirico Healthcare, 6 stores across SA.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles, T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
25 minutes after 7. Don't miss Warren Treadray tonight on the Drive Show, thanks to Ignition for Men. And this man as part of the build-up for the do-or-die final tonight, Adelaide Oval.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G!
Set the scene for us, Timmy. How you feeling?
Well, this time last week, head in hands, vomiting into a bucket, and hadn't had a drink. What a terrible scenario.
Oh, mate.
So today, a week later, 8 days later, you live in the land of hope and glory.
When I accidentally didn't put you on properly last week, Timmy, and you had to say hello twice, I actually thought that was the angriest I've ever heard you in your entire life. You're K's away from me, but I was terrified of you. Glad you're happy this morning.
Look, yeah, like I said, it does change your whole perception, doesn't it? You get that opportunity to go again, and they earned that opportunity to get a second chance. They've got to use it, and that's the thing. I think what I did like was Ken was incredibly cranky in the media conference yesterday, and we actually interviewed one of the guys that he questioned on the Ryan Burton fitness test, Braden Ingram, and he actually found it quite confronting as well. But what it said to me was that they're on the edge. They're on the edge. They know how much it means. They know there's no tomorrow, and perhaps that's going to filter through.
I thought watching Ken Hinkley's reaction, Tim, when that reporter was saying, "Oh, this is probably the biggest game of your career," and Hinkley's body language, it was just like, you don't know what you're talking about. And when he called him uneducated, he said it's a very uneducated take. But it kind of is the most important in terms of his future. It is a hugely important game, is it not?
Yeah, well, it's the back-to-back going out in straight sets that would just be absolutely damning. And it's the record that Port can't break. And as I said this time last week, it's just you just keep reiterating what everybody else is saying about you as far as finals performances go. So they've got to be able to reverse that. And here's your opportunity tonight. Now, we waited patiently for 5:50 p.m. last night to get the teams out, and of course they did come out, and there was a bit of stunned silence because, if anything, a lot of people and experts were saying, well, the mosquito fleet of Geelong really tore Port Adelaide apart. Hawthorn aren't too dissimilar, and the manic pressure they put on them, they're not tall. Would Port try and match that? Well, they've gone the opposite. They're going to rotate four talls through that forward line in Dixon and Radaglia and Marshall and Georgiades. And now Georgiades is in ripping form and has had a great year. The other three haven't. So form line is not great for that. So one of the criticisms was once that ball hit the deck, Geelong were able to run it off them and absolutely expose the lack of pressure that Port were able to put on in that forward line. So I'm sort of just going, right, well, it's a massive roll of the dice. I said if they get it right, they're geniuses. If we get it wrong, well, we're doomed to another straight set exit.
Well, we'll find out in a few hours' time, Timmy. We're looking forward to the call tonight. It's funny sometimes how the lack of a safety net can sharpen the focus, so maybe we'll get a very different Port Adelaide tonight. Looking forward to it, mate. All the best on the call.
Yeah, good on you, Tim.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Timmy G, a little bit later tonight with Rowie, of course, Warren Treadray on the show, and then they'll lead into the live coverage from Adelaide Oval.
I'm excited next week. I'm going to the Carbine Club lunch on Thursday. Tim is hosting it, I understand.
Oh, that'll be great. He's a terrific host.
It's always a good lunch, the Carbine lunch, ahead of the SANFL Grand Final, which will be Nord v either the Dogs or the Bays.
5AA News time. We're going to talk federal politics next.
Summer's on the way. Beat the rush and organise your Walco pool blanket now. Keep your pool clean, warm and reduce evaporation. Uncover the savings with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriotpa. It's SA's newest Mazda dealership, and it's having its first clearance sale. Save thousands on new and demo Mazda CX-5, BT50, CX-30, CX-60. In fact, the whole Mazda range. Experience the difference in the Barossa with outstanding service, a great range of vehicles, state-of-the-art new facility, and you'll see why Barossa Mazda is well worth the trip. BarossaMazda.com.au.
This is 5AA News. News, always Adelaide.
18 and partly cloudy today. With the 7:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
A servo was robbed on Seacombe Road at Seaview Downs early this morning. A man smashed the window with a large axe before demanding cash and cigarettes. The staff member handed it over and the man left on foot, heading down Neath Avenue. Patrols were quickly on scene but were unable to locate him. The employee wasn't physically injured. Police are investigating a suspicious fire at a Plympton Park business last night. Senior Constable Peter Williams says it broke out in Bray Street.
Upon arrival, police found the rear of the business engulfed in flames. The MFS quickly brought it under control, preventing any further damage to surrounding properties. Fire Corps investigators and Southern District detectives attended the scene and determined the cause of the fire to have been deliberately lit. So investigations are ongoing.
While a house fire at Manham overnight has left a damage bill of $400,000, the cause is being investigated. No one was injured. Companies who fail to protect their customers from scams could be forced to pay compensation under proposed new laws. The federal government will today announce major anti-scam reforms. Social media platforms, banks and telcos will be required to take greater action to stop Australians being exploited. Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones says companies who don't protect their customers could be fined millions of dollars.
The draft laws set up a new framework and obligations on businesses to prevent, to detect, to report and to disrupt scams within their businesses. Strong governance obligations and fines of up to $50 million under the Competition and Consumer Law will apply.
Donald Trump has announced he won't take part in a second presidential debate against Kamala Harris. Posting on his social media platform, Truth Social, the former president claims he clearly won the first debate. 3 post-debate polls show the majority of voters believe Ms Harris was the winner. British counter-terror police have joined an investigation into the death of a UK journalist who was covering the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. Jessica Millwood reports.
UK journalist David Knowles was best known for founding and co-hosting Ukraine the Latest podcast. His death at the age of 32 while on holiday in Gibraltar coming as a deep shock to colleagues. UK counter-terror police have now been called in to assist local authorities who at this stage say the journalist died from cardiac arrest. Meanwhile, in the Donetsk region of Ukraine, 3 Red Cross workers have been killed following a shelling. President Zelensky is blaming Russia. The workers were in the war-torn region to deliver aid.
Former movie producer Harvey Weinstein is facing additional sex crimes charges. Details of the alleged incidents will remain sealed until the 72-year-old is brought before the court next week. Lawyer Arthur Adela says his client is still recovering after undergoing emergency heart surgery.
He still has medical equipment literally hanging off of his body. I know lawyers sometimes are known for exaggeration. I can't exaggerate a heart operation. I can't exaggerate a lung operation. He was in the intensive care unit, I believe, until yesterday. So, he's not well.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Visit gliderol.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Jess. We'll start with football. Port Adelaide's made 2 changes for tonight's semi-final clash. That's against Hawthorn, and they're going to bring in Todd Marshall and Josh Sin. Jai Sarong replaces injured Hawks defender Sam Frost. Assistant coach David Hale says the Power will be desperate to bounce back after their horror loss to Geelong.
Their midfield's a definite strength, but our midfield's been in good form as well. And Port's been 6-0 before last week, and they had a bad game, and we're expecting their best. We need to play at that level to be able to beat them. We know Port's going to be a great challenge. This is a hostile environment. It'll be full of Port fans.
It's season over for the loser, while the winner faces Sydney in a prelim. Well, Adelaide United's through to the Australia Cup semi-finals following a spirited 2-1 win against the Western Sydney Wanderers in extra time. Captain Ryan Kitto with the winner just as extra time began.
Alagic is there. Now Clough over the top for Kitto. It's a good ball. Ryan Kitto scores! Clinical finish.
Pretty excited fans. Audio there thanks to Paramount. Let's go to tennis. South Aussie Thanasi Kokonakis has made it 2 wins from 2 matches as Alex de Minaur's Davis Cup replacement. He's helped steer Australia to a win over the Czech Republic and a step closer to November's finals. And in some golf to finish, Aussie Aaron Baddeley's made a great start at the Pro Core Championship event in California, firing a 4-under round of 68, which sees him currently in a tie for 6th and only 3 shots off the lead. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Beautiful looking morning and really good on the roads too. We're accident breakdown free. Shouldn't have too many hassles getting where you were going. Busy in a few spots. 5 Ash Drive at Pasadena. Also the Port River Expressway busy heading into Port Adelaide. And got a burst water main to look out for at Northfield today. Green Junction Road near Roe Avenue with speeds at 40 k's. Early morning cameras, Addison Road, Pennington and Port Road at West Hindmarsh today. The Fan Spring-tastic event is here. Enjoy intro offers on selected new arrivals and spring specials like the Finlay 3-seater sofa. Save $100. Head in-store or online to find your fantastic. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
Partly cloudy and 18 today, partly cloudy and 17 tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality and style of Armani, Canali, Zegna and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. Ignition for Men. ignitionformen.com.au.
Renovating or building and don't know where to start? Head to the Building Ideas Centre and bring your dreams to life. The newly established Building Ideas Centre is a huge showroom offering a mix of renovation and building products to ignite your imagination. Kitchens, bathrooms, heating and cooling, tiles and tapware, it's all here. Become inspired and talk with the professionals about your build. Whether you're budget conscious or going for gold, we can help you on your building journey. Find us at 279 Growth Street in the city.
Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier with some of the best brands in cooking, dishwashers, clothes dryers and washing machines. And all through September, Adelaide Appliance Gallery is making your life more affordable. Save $900 on selected Smeg Omni Chef ovens. Save $700 on selected full steam ovens. And save $500 on selected combi steam ovens. From the kitchen to the laundry, Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier. Call into 155 Paynham Road, St Peters or visit adelaideappliancegallery.com.au.
When the mornings start getting warmer and the sun rises a little bit earlier, the dream you let lie dormant over winter wakes. It's time to start with Olympic Industries Spring Sale. Huge savings on locally engineered verandas, carports, garages, tool sheds and more. Start building your dream now. And one day you'll look back at where it all started, in your own backyard, with Olympic Industries Spring Sale on now.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 8, we're flashing back in time with Michael Smith. There's Michael Smith shortly. Breaking at 8 coming up after 8 o'clock this morning. We're checking with Jade Robran. Feedback Friday, of course, on this Friday morning. And we've got a meat tray to give away. Call in and see Chris and the team. Hayden's Family Butcher Shop 52 in Birdside Village. We're asking you about your silly special subject. What's the thing that's totally useless that you have an unparalleled amount of knowledge about, like David with Hawks, or our first caller this morning, Warwick, who can name every Olympic Games off the top of his head, and he demonstrated it.
Unbelievable.
Freakish ability.
Yep, you got to do some hard work, folks, to knock Warwick off. I reckon he's in pole position. It was terrific.
Whatever silly subject you've got, like Sue, who knows every BSB from every NAB in South Australia.
Or every Prime Minister in Australia.
Yes.
We were talking about that one earlier.
Let us know, and you can win yourself a meat tray, 8223 Let's talk federal politics. It's a big story that's developed over the last 24 hours that we haven't spent a lot of time on yet, but we're going to do now with Zach De Silva, 9 Radio's federal political reporter. Zach, just bring our listeners up to speed with the Brereton report that came out yesterday that has controversially seen Australian soldiers stripped of their medals and honours for some service in Afghanistan.
Yeah, morning guys, that's right. So this is one of the final actions the government had to take in response to the Brereton report, which was that landmark inquiry that found evidence Australian soldiers had committed unlawful killings in Afghanistan. One of the actions that the government had to take in response to that, as recommended by this report, was it was referred to in the report as command accountability. It was essentially, so these are officers, these are commanders, these are people who the report found if we knew then what we know now about what happened in Afghanistan, these commanders probably wouldn't have been given their medals, not necessarily because they either knew about the war crimes, alleged war crimes, or helped them happen in some way, but because they bore moral responsibility for the actions of their troops. And so the government's being very vague about precise numbers. It says there are privacy concerns here. We know that it's up to 9. So reading through the lines, my guess would be 7 or 8. Sounds like a reasonable guess of how many people have had their medals stripped. But a handful of officers have had their medals stripped. We know Angus Campbell, the Chief of Defence Force, or former Chief of Defence Force, is not among them, which is controversial in itself as well.
So he received honours, and he was the highest-ranking Australian that oversaw the operations, wasn't he?
Yeah, correct. And you talk to people like Jackie Lambie, even people like Andrew Hastie, the opposition's defence spokesman, who are saying the one issue they had with the Brereton report was it found that those very senior commanders did not bear responsibility. And Andrew Hastie gave quite an emotional speech in Parliament yesterday, saying his one disagreement with Brereton was that it didn't go high enough up the chain of command. And Andrew Hastie served in Afghanistan in the SAS, and he was saying the commanders, when they looked at the reports, when they looked at the kill counts on these reports and some of the pictures on these reports, they should have asked more questions. Jackie Lambie for a long time has been saying Angus Campbell should have his medals taken away from him because it sounds like a lot of veterans feel like they've been thrown under the bus, and the commanders who are ultimately responsible haven't taken the responsibility that they should have.
Is this a fair assessment, Zach? See, my problem with this is that because of the vagary around it, because of the lack of specifics and all that we don't know, doesn't it cast everyone who served in Afghanistan in a bad light? Isn't everyone a potential war criminal because of what we don't know about this? And hasn't it impugned the reputation of so many soldiers who did the right thing serving over there?
Well, yeah, and that is one of the other criticisms, exactly that it casts all soldiers in a bad light. I think that's why the government has sought to put some numbers around it and say, this is a very small group of people, and that there are also war crimes, not prosecutions, but investigations ongoing. There was a special investigator set up to look into these allegations. So there are a whole lot of difficulties around that. I do think there are a lot of people in the veterans community who feel that way, who feel like all soldiers who served in Afghanistan were, in a way, thrown under the bus. And Richard Marles, the Defence Minister, when he spoke about this in Parliament, did go out of his way to say, this is about a small group of people. We have the greatest of respect for anyone who's gone and served their country overseas. But and that's been the criticism the whole way through Brereton, essentially, that the actions of a small group of people made everyone who served over there look bad.
Does this overlap with the Ben Roberts-Smith stuff, Zach? I know that was a defamation case and the Nick McKenzie stories on 9. That was the impetus for that big court battle. But would this just be, we're never going to know the identity of these men, are we? So that my question would only be based on suspicion, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really the only way we find out the identities of these people is if they come forward and self-identify, because of how shrouded in secrecy defence has been. Ben Roberts-Smith, from what I understand from talking to people within the government, is not one of the people losing his medals over this. There was talk after that civil judgment in the defamation trial that he should lose his Victoria Cross medal, which is, the highest honour an Australian soldier can receive, and he's not losing that because it's kind of a separate process. And the argument is, regardless of what else a person has done or is accused to have done, that you win a Victoria Cross medal for a specific moment of incredible bravery, and no one is disputing that that moment of incredible bravery did happen. So that's the argument of why Ben Roberts-Smith gets to keep his Victoria Cross, because whatever else he did, he still did do this very brave thing and potentially saved the lives of a lot of Australian soldiers.
Now, Zach, the other criticism that's been levelled at the government is the timing of this. This decision was handed down in the wake of the very serious Royal Commission into veteran suicides.
Yes, that's right. And this is another criticism that Jackie Lambie has of this. The fact that earlier this week we got the Royal Commission into veteran suicides, which was itself quite a damning document, finding the culture in defence, the failure of the Department of Veterans Affairs, a whole string of issues are leading to veterans taking their own lives at far greater rates than they should. And the one that really stuck out to me was the fact that as a former ADF, someone who served in the ADF, you are far more likely to die after getting home from suicide, most likely, than you are in combat. So it was quite a damning report. And the criticism is, why did the government decide to announce the fact that it's stripping medals from veterans in the same week that this Royal Commission really ripped the Band-Aid off for a lot of people? And I think if you're in the veterans community, it's probably been quite a hard week in terms of having to confront a lot of things that have really been brought up from the Royal Commission and now this decision from the government as well.
Yeah, great account there, Zach, and two very important stories. Zach De Silva, the Nine Radio federal politics reporter on the Bremerton report and the veteran suicide.
I have to say that whole thing sits really uncomfortably with me. And I appreciate they've had to handle it the way they've had because there's trials and things that haven't happened, and there was a report about Australian conduct that needs to be taken seriously.
But the timing.
But there are blokes over there that got shot at fighting terrorists in an Australian uniform. Now they've had their, by virtue of their association, their lot thrown in with people who've been accused of unlawful killings.
Yeah, totally.
And I reckon that's a pretty crap way to treat Australian veterans, frankly.
And whatever little qualification came from the Defence Minister gets a bit lost, doesn't it? And the headline-grabbing nature of it all.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's flash back in time.
It's time to Flashback with Michael Smith.
You can catch Flashback on 7 News, Sunday nights from 6 o'clock. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and David. We've got a lights and sirens edition of Flashback for you this week as we look back at the curious history of Adelaide's ambulance service. These days, if ambulances are mentioned in the news, it's because there's been a delayed response or ramping, something like that. But we're going back to the 70s and 80s when ramping was a foreign concept and the ambulance service was run by St John. What I was really intrigued to learn was up until 1991, if you called an ambulance in Adelaide after regular business hours, say overnight or on a weekend, the crew that responded were volunteers. They were paid staff during the day, but the volunteers looked after after-hours responses, and they did the same work as their paid colleagues. So they'd go to fires, train crashes, car crashes, all those sort of things. They had regular day jobs doing 1 or 2 shifts as a volunteer, which I found fascinating. I've caught up with a couple of volunteers. There were hundreds of them across Adelaide. A guy called Russ Stiggins, who by day was a TV and radio journalist and would be a volunteer amongst many others. He was based at the Unley station where they had a dormitory where the volunteers would sleep overnight 1 or 2 nights a week waiting to respond to emergencies. Russ did it for more than 20 years, and he says even all these years later, there are incidents that still stick in his memory.
She was on a motorbike. She speared through the car into the front seat and she was in a bad way. We got her up, got her to hospital, and the head doctor came in, a neurologist, and he took one look at her and he said, "Don't bother, she's dead." And I held her hand until she died. It was 20 minutes. Those are the sort of things that nothing prepares you for, but we would sit around afterwards in the station and chat amongst ourselves. We were our own helpers in that sense.
Reminded that these people are doing this in a voluntary capacity. It's a bit more confronting than Meals on Wheels or clipping tickets at the Capri. Remarkable community service. This went on until 1991, as I said. Unions started agitating for it to become a full-time profession as late as the late 70s, as early as the late 70s, I should say. SA Ambulance coming about in its current form in 1992. So we dipped our lids to all those St John volleys who did remarkable service helping the community. Of course, St John these days still providing a valuable role in terms of first aid training and attending community events, but no longer volunteers riding in our emergency ambulances.
I tell you what, Michael, if the Health Minister Chris Picton's listening to this segment of Flashback, he might be wondering if he could hold a snap press conference today and say, so, we got any volunteers out there who'd be interested in driving ambulances after hours for us?
Well, indeed. And
all hands on deck.
When an ambulance responds these days, I mean, they're remarkably high-tech in terms of the equipment that they have on board, almost like a flying mini-hospital. But back then, they talk about not having much more than a first aid kit and a couple of oxygen cylinders. Another volunteer, David McGowan, tells an incredible story of attending a nasty car crash and literally cutting the roof off the car with an axe because it was the days before the jaws of life. So, incredible tales to tell on Sunday night.
That's extraordinary. Great story.
Fascinating.
A lot of people have forgotten about that.
Yeah, good on you, Michael.
I wonder if these days, for legal reasons, they wouldn't be able to do it. Because, if you've been hit by a car and you want to get some sort of have-a-go King G type bloke who's a landscape gardener in his spare time being your first sort of port of call when you've been in a car accident, it's probably a professional sort of /training/ liability question around using volunteers for that these days.
All right, let's check traffic thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. Good looking Friday on the roads. Accident breakdown free, which is great. No real hassles, which is nice. Do have a burst water main at Northfield to look out for. Grand Junction Road near Roe Avenue, but not seeing too many delays there. A little bit busy. South Road at Karata Park, hardly surprising. And it is a little bit sluggish. Main North Road at Enfield coming into the city. Cameras Addison Road, Pennington and Hawker Street at Brompton today. Race into Autobahn today and tomorrow for 25% off Penrite oils and additives and Ryco oil filters. Hurry, today and tomorrow only at Autobahn. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
It's your last chance. You could win a new car. Get your Hospital Research Foundation home lottery tickets by midnight tonight and you'll be in 3 bonus draws for a Range Rover Velar. Plus your tickets stay in more than 10,000 draws, including the $3.9 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize home in Glenelg East. Life-changing prizes. Life-changing impact. Homelottery.com.au. Licence M14585.
Have you seen the stunning new sign at NRG Solar's relocated office in St Mary's? It's not just a sign, it's a beacon of sustainability. As leaders in solar solutions, NRG Solar's commitment to innovation shines bright. Their new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself, 1275 South Road St Mary's, or visit nrgsolar.com.au for a sustainable future. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
Now, hearing loss as we get older is annoying for all involved, but help is here. If you're struggling to hear your loved ones or find yourself turning the TV up way too loud, there is some great news.
Audica has opened new hearing clinics in Glenelg, St Agnes and Golden Grove, continuing their mission to help more people hear better. With 56 Audica clinics statewide, personalised hearing care is always nearby.
If you're over 26, you can book your free hearing check today. Call 1300 460 460 or book online at audica.com.au.
Love your ears. Book today at Audica.
Join Gliderol in celebrating the Colorbond Steal the Show promotion. By purchasing a roller door or sectional door made from Colorbond steel from Gliderol, now or within the last 12 months, you could win $100,000. Visit gliderol.com.au today for a free measure and quote. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply. See colorbond.com/steal the show. 18+ only. Strict purchase and eligibility criteria apply. Ends 30/11/24.
FIVEAA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to FIVEAA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 8. Let's check in with Jade Robran. Thanks to Dutton's, family owned and operated for 75 years. They're easy to do business with.
Well, it may be a chilly start to the morning, but any time in my eyes is good to have a gelato. And I am here at the brand spanking new Gelato Bello. Owner Marcus is with me. This is a beautiful institution, but you've had a facelift. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, good morning and thank you for having us. It was a long time coming, I guess, for this place. So we've been here for nearly 30 years now, and it just needed a little bit of a facelift to kind of modernise it, bring it into the 21st century.
And free ice cream today.
Yes, so 200 first customers will get a free scoop of gelati today, so come on down.
Now tell me, it's called Gelato Bello. You just said gelati, I say gelati. What is the difference here in Adelaide?
Yeah, good question. So it's going back to the Italian language. So gelato is singular. So if I was to get a gelato, I'd get a gelato by myself.
Yeah.
Or if we were together, getting a gelati.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just plural.
How did it all begin?
So we're third generation owners, and so there was a previous owner that founded it in '96, and then there's been an ownership in between, and we've taken over just recently. So it was a Sicilian man that started it, and he created the Sicilian recipe. So it's a little bit of a different recipe compared to most gelaterias around Adelaide and Australia. It's a bit more lighter and I guess a bit more cleaner as well.
I have tried the mango, the hazelnut and the dark chocolate. It's delish. How many flavours have you got?
So we have around 40 flavours at one time normally. So it's amazing how the business or the previous owner only started with 8, and we've really kind of ramped it up and gone to a good range of 40.
Well, congratulations, Marcus. This is all very exciting. Head on down to the Glynde flagship store opening today. The first 200 people through the door get a free scoop. You can find them on 87 Glenburn Road in Glynde. Guys, see you later. Gelato for me.
Yum.
Yeah, yum indeed. Hey, big thanks to Will from Goodwood. He's sent in a text with a picture, quite a confronting picture, but one featuring a majestic and beautiful bird. It says, Pembo, I had this hawk kill a pigeon on my back lawn yesterday. As the resident bird expert, what type of hawk is it, and will it come back and clean up its damn mess? I think it's a definite hard no to the second. The picture is remarkable. So the poor old pigeon is deader than disco on the lawn, and there's feathers everywhere, but I'm pretty sure, Will, that the hawk that did that to the pigeon in suburban Goodwood is a goshawk.
There you go.
That's my guess.
Birdman strikes again. It's time for 5AA. We're having a little bit of phone difficulty this morning, so if you're trying to ring through or you're waiting for a call back, we've just got some gremlins in the system that we're trying to sort out. So it's us, not you. 5AA News Time, breaking 8 coming up.
It feels like finals this weekend. The 2024 Host Plus Sandford League Final Series are taking over Adelaide Oval this Sunday. See Central take on Glenelg in a win-or-go-home preliminary final at 3:15pm. The winner will see Norwood in a huge grand final next weekend. There's also the Sandford Under-16 and Under-18 grand finals beforehand. And there's free entry for the kids. Head to the Host Plus Sandford League Final Series this weekend. Learn more at sandford.com.au/finals. The Host Plus Sandford League Final Series.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan. There's never any roadworks when you're driving Aussie made, and you'll always find a park that's nestled safely in the shade. The magpies will stop swooping, the kangaroos give way. You won't see a single mosquito at the end of each perfect day. And if the coppers pull you over, they won't wreck your plans when you tell them you bought Aussie made from Dave Benson Caravans.
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
18 and partly cloudy today. With the 8 o'clock news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
A man armed with an axe robbed a service station at Seaview Downs early this morning. Senior Constable Peter Williams says he smashed the window of the servo on Seacombe Road and demanded cash and cigarettes.
The staff member complied and the suspect took those items fleeing on foot down Neath Avenue. Patrols quickly arrived, set up cordon search to the area but were unable to locate the suspect. He's described as 180 centimetres tall, slim build, wearing all black clothing, a black face mask and glasses. Fortunately, the employee was not physically injured during the incident.
A car crashed into a brick letterbox in St Agnes overnight. Police were quickly on the scene in Tuvas Avenue and helped the driver out of the vehicle. The 46-year-old man from Valley View suffered minor injuries and was taken to hospital for treatment. The Red Cross has confirmed 3 of its workers have been killed and 2 others injured after heavy shelling at an aid distribution site in Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has posted an image of a burning Red Cross truck, calling it another Russian war crime. The charity's president says our hearts are broken while they mourn dead colleagues and care for the injured. The truck had been getting ready to distribute wood and briquettes in the war-torn region. A $1 million reward is still on offer in the search for answers on the disappearance of William Tyrrell. Today marks 10 years since the 3-year-old went missing from his foster grandmother's home on the New South Wales mid-north coast. An inquest into his disappearance will resume later this year. Criminologist Dr. Xanthi Mallet says she's not confident it'll shed any more light on what happened.
I'm not sure that there's going to be any really new information that's elicited in the final part of that process. I would love to think that we will finally find out what happened to William and where he is, but ultimately I think there will be an open finding and the coroner won't be able to determine who was responsible for taking William.
There's been a record number of drowning deaths on Australian beaches in the last year. Gabrielle Hodson explains.
It's the highest number since Surf Life Saving Australia began collecting figures 20 years ago. 150 people headed off to the beach last financial year and never made it home. The Coastal Safety Report, released today, says lack of awareness of rips and unpatrolled beaches are part of the reason for so many drownings. International tourists accounted for 7% of deaths, a figure that Surf Lifesavers say is overrepresented, with people born overseas more likely to hit the beach than those born here.
A new imaging tool is having success in identifying kidney tumours. More than 4,500 Australians are diagnosed with kidney cancer each year. The tool, developed by a Melbourne pharmaceutical company, has an antibody attached to a radioactive probe which can find tumours in patients. Well, all roads lead to Adelaide Oval tonight for footy fans. Mel Usher has more.
Port fans will be out in force for tonight's march from the Plaza. The pilgrimage to Adelaide Oval, ahead of the must-win semi-final against Hawthorn, leaves Festival Plaza at 6 p.m. The advice is wear the club colours and warm up your vocal cords.
Go to power!
If you're making your own way there, gates open at Adelaide Oval at 5:30. The game is a sellout. It all gets underway at 7:10.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Visit gliderroll.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. The countdown is on ahead of tonight's semi-final clash between Port Adelaide and Hawthorn at Adelaide Oval. The match is set to be played in front of 50,000 fans, and the Power have made 2 changes, with Todd Marshall and Josh Sin coming in for Ryan Burton, who's injured, while Jed McEntee has been dropped. The Hawks will be without key defender Sam Frost, who's out with a foot injury, while Premiership hero Luke Bruce will play his 300th game. Let's get to tennis. Australia's on the verge of progressing to the next stage of the Davis Cup after a 3-0 sweep of an injury-hit Czech Republic. South Aussie Thanasi Kokonakis setting things up with a hard-fought 3-set win against Jacob Mensik. The 28-year-old thrilled to get the opportunity to represent his country.
Leighton always shows the utmost confidence in me. This guy's higher ranked as well, and he's given me the nod, so I'm super grateful. It's a different feeling than playing for Australia than playing for yourself.
Alexei Poprin then received a walkover when Thomas Mahajchak was forced to retire after just one game, while Max Purcell and Matt Ebden then wrapped things up in the doubles. Adelaide United has chalked up another win, taking care of the Western Sydney Wanderers here in Adelaide in the Australia Cup quarterfinals, 2-1, meaning they're now into the semis. Meantime, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has extended his contract, committing him to the Premier League club until 2027. And Australia's cricketers will be hoping to wrap up their T20 series against England when the two sides meet in the second T20 match in Cardiff. That's early tomorrow morning our time. The Aussies currently lead that best-of-3 series 1-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
At Northfield, burst water main to look out for. Grand Junction Road near Rowe Avenue. Got speeds at 40 but no great delays there. Reports of a small bingle at St Mary's on Ailofts Road, just near South Road there, near the car dealership. Slow for works at Edwardstown, Cross Road near Railway Terrace, and getting busy at Bedford Park, Flinders Drive near the Southern Expressway. Cameras Everard Avenue, Ashford, and Harvey Avenue at Netley. Quitting smoking is hard, but so is heart disease, emphysema, and mouth cancer. Choose your heart and choose to give up for good. Visit health.gov.au/give up for good. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
18 and partly cloudy today, 17 and partly cloudy tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
These days you can charge your phone, your watch, your laptop, your bike, even your car. Well, the day has finally come where you can charge your excavator. I know, you can charge your very own excavator, but only if it's a Volvo electric excavator. It's not noisy, it's pretty much silent, it's green, there's no emissions, and it'll leave you without a worry in the world. How good. Inquire today through Warren Mining for all your construction equipment needs. Warren Mining. Enjoy the sound of silence.
Today is the day. It's demo day at Toolkit Depot Mile End. Check out the latest tools and outdoor gear just in time for spring. All the big brands will be there. Milwaukee, Makita, Bosch and DeWalt. Try the latest mowers, line trimmers, hedges and other outdoor gear. We'll have battery deals, product demos, giveaways and a free sausage sizzle. Toolkit Depot Demo Day, only at our Mile End store. Don't miss it. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m, 175 Railway Terrace.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 8, breaking 8 coming up in a moment. In an exciting development, the phone lines are back up and operational. So if you'd like to call in and win a meat tray, you can do precisely that. 8223 0000.
What's your hard quiz topic, folks? What's
That's
your
right.
special area of obscure expertise if you went on hard quiz, or for those of like me of an older generation, mastermind? You know, we've always had that, you know, people sit there talking about, you know, the Spanish Civil War, or you know, the novels of Enid Blyton, or, you know, anything, any obscure field of interest. And, yeah, hop to it.
8223 0000. You can text us too on the Duttons text line. That is always operational. Big thanks to the great team there. Hayden's Family Butcher. Feedback Friday, not too far away either. And we took some calls following our chat with Zach De Silva that we're going to get to very, very shortly. But first, it's time for Breaking 8.
Well, one of the many unpleasant features of social media are these so-called post and boast videos. This is where morons who break the law not only go out and commit crimes, but they're so thrilled with their own efforts that they video them or photograph them and then post their achievements on social media. Everything from bashings, we've seen a lot of it in the context of school assaults, where one of the most insidious modern forms of bullying, you no longer just get duffed up in the quadrangle, but it ends up living on social media. and often the social media companies are reluctant to do anything about it. Well, in what I think is very good news, overnight in the state's upper house, a set of new laws proposed by independent MLC Frank Pangello have been passed by the Legislative Council, and we've got Frank on the line now. Frank, good morning, mate, and thanks for joining us. This is a good idea. I haven't actually heard of any other jurisdiction in Australia doing these post and boast video laws, but good on you for pursuing it.
Well, yes, New South Wales.
They've done it, have they? Yep.
They've done it, and they're a lot tougher than the ones we're likely to have. But nonetheless, I thank my colleagues in the upper house, Labor, the Liberals and the crossbench, for supporting it last night, although there was a change. But what it will mean is that morons who post videos on social media of themselves committing various offences like home invasions, assaults, car offences, will now be hit with extra jail time, an extra 2 years. And as you pointed out, I think the community is disgusted by these obnoxious antics that are just designed to give these offenders some sort of infamy and notoriety among their peers. And all it does is encourage others to do the same thing. As I said, while it got through, I didn't, get the additional matter of bail. I wanted it also to be tougher for these offenders, the age between 14 and 18, to be able to get bail. If there was a likelihood they'll reoffend, but my colleagues thought that it was a bit too harsh. Perhaps they were going a bit soft, but they thought it was a bit harsh. And look, I was happy to accept them, and it will now go to the House of Assembly, and the Attorney General tells me they may make some additional tweaks, but they were generally very positive about the move.
Do the laws do anything, Frank, to put more pressure on the Facebooks and Instagrams and what have you to monitor this sort of stuff? Because they've got a responsibility too, haven't they?
Yes, it will. It will. It will mean that all these networks that run these platforms will now have to monitor and ensure that they are removed and police them a lot more.
Yeah, well, it's good that we've done this. Good on you for pursuing it, and hopefully the laws will remain pretty much as they are when they end up being voted on in the lower house. Frank Pangello, Independent MLC, thanks for joining us for Breaking at 8.
Thank you.
12 after 8, there's been some breaking news out of day 3 of the protests in Melbourne at the Land Forces Expo, and we've seen a unique, a new entry into the world of protest. Familiar as we are with glue being used to fix oneself to all manner of things, as masterminded by the people at Extinction Rebellion, the Land Forces Expo protesters, or one of them at very least, reportedly this morning, has used concrete to lock themselves to a vehicle in the zone, obviously, around where police are trying to remove them. So police
they're concreted inside a car?
The concrete themselves to the back. It looks to me, looking at the pictures, like they're in the boot of a car. So police have had to chisel this person out of the concrete. See, the Extinction...
That's not very environmentally friendly.
This is just it. The Extinction Rebellion people wouldn't use concrete because it's a carbon-intensive form of protest.
Don't they know how that stuff's made?
That's right. So that was dealt with very quickly. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that we
can't they just
see more of.
Take the handbrake off the car and let it roll in a Port Phillip Bay?
Not sure that's in the police manual, that one. But maybe
only in Queensland.
Gary's called in. We're talking about the volunteer ambulance service with Michael Smith a little bit earlier. Morning to you, Gary.
Yeah, morning, boys. Not so much the volunteer ambulance service, but about 50 plus years ago I did a St John's cadetship, and then through an employer about 20 years ago I did a first aid course. And because I'm a truck driver, quite often, well not quite often, but sometimes you're the first on the scene of an accident. And because I'd done that training, it stood me in good stead for being able to administer first aid until the professionals get there. But I just wish that more people would learn first aid, because sometimes you're the first persons on the scene.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary. A lot of people don't know it. It's funny, we often had that conversation at school sport. I reckon there's a lot of people involved in school sport who haven't done any of the training. You should know it.
Is there an argument for it to be a compulsory part of education?
Yeah, or maybe a compulsory, not part of the school day, but there's an argument that maybe, after school, in a certain year level, like maybe, I don't know, year 8 or something, year 9.
It's not going to swallow up. It's not. We're not picking between first aid and maths, are we?
No.
It's not going to take up that much time.
But if you got, it shouldn't be put on the teachers because they've got enough on their plate.
No.
But if you got like St John's, if a St John person could come to the school at 3:30 and do a 90-minute course, I reckon it'd be great. And you say to the kids, yeah, you're all expected to go. It's a good skill to have.
Yeah, there'd be a social benefit to it.
Hey, I didn't realise this, but not being a rural/regional resident, but a lot of people on the Duttons text line in Country SA have texted in saying that in terms of the ambulance volunteers, a majority of country and regional stations are still operated by volunteers, some of them 24/7, and they have the same level of training given to the professional sort of on the payroll teams. So the volunteers are still doing a hell of a lot of their heavy lifting in Country SA in terms of keeping injured and unwell people safe.
Keep those Duttons texts coming in. Jim's called through on 8223 for Meat Tray Friday. Jim, what's your special area of knowledge?
Well, I've got a few. I can name all the kings and queens of England from William the Conqueror. I can name all the presidents of America. I can name every capital city in American states. And I can name every country in Africa.
Seriously?
Oh,
which one would you like?
Well, should we do the American presidents?
You can do the American presidents. Do you want me to name everyone?
Yeah, and do you do them? So you do them from Washington onwards.
Order. We've got Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams' son, Adams, Jackson, Von Bureau, who couldn't speak English, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson. Lincoln was assassinated, of course. Johnson, Hayes.
He's the one who died in office, isn't he, Hayes? Didn't he die after like 40 days or something?
No, Harrison did. Harrison died. It didn't last a month, I don't think.
That's right.
Yeah. Then there was Garfield, who was assassinated, followed by Chester Arthur, followed by Grosvenor, followed by Harrison.
You know what, Jim?
Related.
We believe you, Jim. You've proven it. Once you can do the first 20-odd, we believe you can do the next 3. What's the capital of Iowa?
Des Moines.
It is. It is.
Can you name, if I gave you a blank silhouette version of the map?
Name the state, I'll give you the answer.
Can you write in all the states on the map of the United States, Jim?
I probably could.
Wow.
Yeah. See, New York, most people think New York is New York City. It's not. It's Albany. Florida is Tallahassee. Louisiana is Baton Rouge. Austin, Texas. You've got Sacramento, California. You've got Bismarck, North Dakota. Do you want me to keep going?
Jim, what country's directly northwest of South Africa?
Do you want me to name every country in South Africa quickly?
No, you know what? I believe you, Jim.
That is terrific,
That is
Jim.
superb. You're a superstar.
What a legend.
That is amazing. What a memory.
Hey, Jim, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 80.
You're 80. Do you find...
Born in Ireland, penniless.
Born in Ireland?
Penniless.
Penniless.
Yeah.
Well, you're incredibly intelligent man. Jim.
It's a good way to keep yourself agile mentally, isn't it? Those sorts of exercises.
I've got to thank FIVEAA because going back to Keith Conlon, I retired early in that 25, 26 years ago. You had a psychologist on the radio, and people were ringing up with loss of memory. And I had a little incident where I put down a cup of coffee and I couldn't find it for a month. And I racked my brains and I thought, I'm losing my mind. And this lady suggested, pick up a subject that you love. I love history, I love geography, and I just study them and study them. But my real paid hate is, and you won't want to talk about this one, is the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And Oswald didn't do it because he can prove he wasn't there.
You cannot prove he was at the window.
Jim, we could talk to you for 3 hours, I
Yeah.
suspect.
Have you been to Dallas, Jim? Have you been to the...
I went to Dallas, and my wife said goodbye. I'll never see you again. The CIA are going to lock you up.
Did you do that? Because I went with my dad. Did you do that tour?
I took them all around Dealey Plaza, and I explained to them what actually happened, where the bullets were, blah, blah, blah. And they said to me, how come we don't know? I said, because you're not allowed to know.
Look at you go, Jim. He went on the tour. He ended up taking the tour.
I wonder if Jim went to the cinema where Oswald was hiding. And
he said he wasn't there.
Who was it then? Who shot the cop on the way to the cinema? Okay.
Trevor and Seaford, what's your special skill?
McGarry medals.
Oh, good. All right.
Now, I'll list you 5 or 6 triple McGarry medalists.
Yeah.
One was Tom McKenzie in the early 1900s, and the 202 and 205, they were reputed to be given to him, but he didn't receive them because Mr. McGarry was overseas on both those years. And while he was alive, he had to present it. Right? Then there was Dan Moriarty, 3 in a row, 19, 20 and 21. There was Len Fitzgerald, 1 and 3 for Sturt. Then there was Lindsay Head, 1 3. Barry Robin, 1 3. And could have won an extra one, but for that injury he received in the interstate match in 74.
Trevor, surely we can't just name a year and you can name McGarry medalists.
Well, try one.
Because there's 125, 126 in London.
You want the 11 in a row from 60 to 71?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, 1960, Barry Barbary. 61, John Halbert. 62, Ken Eustace. 63, Lindsay Head, 3rd. 64, Jeff Motley, who incidentally already captain coached one of the 6 in a row for Port Adelaide in 1960. He's the only one to do that. And then 65 was Gary Window, right? He beat Neil Kelly. 66 was Ron Kneebone. 67 was Obst. 68 was Barry Robin. 69 was Fred Phillis. 1970 was Barry Robin. 71 was Russell Ebert.
Unbelievable.
That's
Trevor.
brilliant.
That is remarkable.
You know, the greatest side of that era, Sturt, coached by Jack Oatey, none of them won a McGarry medal. And Oatey wanted it that way. He wanted them to be an individual team, not a team of individuals.
Remarkable knowledge that our listeners are demonstrating this morning for the meat tray. If you've got a special and useless skill or area of knowledge, do give us a call, 8223 0000. All thanks to Hayden's Family Butcher Shop, 52 in Burnside Village.
Jim made the point, they're not useless skills, are they?
No.
His coffee cup
exercising your brain.
They're good skills.
We'll check traffic and we're going to come back and check in with Jade Robin shortly. Then Feedback Friday. We've got a $100 Samtas seafood voucher and Wallace Cinema passes to give away. Everyone will walk away a winner. Give Sam and Lucy a call and you can play. Traffic first, thanks to Louva House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. At Crayfus West, a breakdown on the freeway up track, seeing delays after the tunnels. Dry Creek, a smash on the north-south motorway near Globe Derby Drive. Northfield, burst water main, Grand Junction Road near Rowe Avenue, speeds at 40, and got works at Unley today, Green Hill Road and the Unley Road causing delays. Cameras Churchy Road, Kilburn, and Harvey Avenue at Netley. Make the most of Volkswagen's ultimate Amarok sale events in the Amarok Live from $60,990 drive away with a free 5-year care plan. Ends September 30. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
We have a prickly coach. Yeah, being a knockout final, all the press are down there and the like, and they saw Ryan Burton going through what appeared to be a fitness test.
He's doing a fitness test. Is that your decision or ours?
I love it. Now it says it means something. It means a lot.
The 5AA Sports Show.
When everything's on the line,
that's when you're at your best.
You should respond.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly, matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier with some of the best brands in cooking, dishwashers, clothes dryers and washing machines. And all through September, Adelaide Appliance Gallery is making your life more affordable. Save $150 on selected Smeg Diamond Series dishwashers, premium in design and premium in features. From the kitchen to the laundry, Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes your everyday easier. Call into 155 Paynham Road, St Peters or visit adelaideappliancegallery.com.au.
It feels like finals this weekend. The 2024 Host Plus Sanford League Final Series are taking over Adelaide Oval this Sunday. See Central take on Glenelg in a win-or-go-home preliminary final at 3:15pm. The winner will see Norwood in a huge grand final next weekend. There's also the Sandford Under-16 and Under-18 grand finals beforehand. And there's free entry for the kids. Head to the Host Plus Sanford League Final Series this weekend. Learn more at sandford.com.au/finals. The Host Plus Sanford League Final Series.
Nothing beats the Sandford!
Everybody knows Right Price are the heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
When the mornings start getting warmer and the sun rises a little bit earlier, the dream you let lie dormant over winter wakes. It's time to start with Olympic Industries Spring Sale. Huge savings on locally engineered verandas, carports, garages, tool sheds and more. Start building your dream now. And one day you'll look back at where it all started, in your own backyard, with Olympic Industries Spring Sale on now.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
27 after 8. Let's check in with Jade Robin out on the road, thanks to the great people at Dutton's. Morning again to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. I'm down here on the footbridge, which is very quiet right now, but will be absolutely rocking in a few hours' time. Of course, tonight's do-or-die clash between Hawks and Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. I've been out and about having a chat with a lot of people here this morning, and lots of Hawks supporters have made the trip over. Fans can meet at around 5:30 this afternoon. That Port March, it is back. They're braving it again, and a lot of SANFL stars, Port Adelaide stars. The Premier Peter Malinauskas, he's also going to meet at the bridge as well, and the Port Army will make their way into Adelaide Oval. It is set to be a massive night. Of course, there is no tomorrow for one of the teams. The other team goes on to play Sydney. It's going to be a beautiful night down here. It's chilly this morning. I think we've just hit about 6 degrees now, but the sun is shining, beautiful blue skies, expecting a top of around 15 degrees when the first bounce comes at around 7:10 tonight. There are a lot of nervous fans. I've had a bit of a word to a few of them. Here's what they had to say. Kieran and Ned, decked out in your Hawks colours. Talk to me about tonight. Enemy territory. It's going to be crazy, isn't it?
Sure is. No, we're a bit nervous, but hopeful. It's a long journey, so hopefully we have a win.
Tell me, what is hockball?
Good question. I think I know the younger person to answer that because I got no idea.
Okay, let's bring in Ned. Ned, what is hockball?
It's like a term from TikTok. It's like come up with like shortened hock, and then hockball's sort of how we play, like quick, fast.
Thank you so much, because I have been wondering, Michael, do the Power get up tonight? Have they got it in them?
Finals isn't great for Port, but they definitely have to win tonight. And as a Port supporter, I'm rooting for them.
So have you recovered from last week? Are you feeling extra nervous because of last week?
I most certainly have not recovered, but I've seen it all before. We can bring it back. I know we can.
They're going very tall, and everyone's saying they should be going very small. So, how do you feel about that one?
Well, look, it's our last possible chance. Otherwise, we're out. So, I'm hoping Ken Hinckley can talk some sense into them. Otherwise, the players can do it.
Yeah, it's a mixture of nerves and hope and anxiety. 5AA, of course, your home of the footy finals. Sports show tonight, going to have Mark Robertson on the program. Robbo is going to be great to listen to. Make sure you tune in and get his expert news and opinions about everything happening in the world of the footy and the finals, all thanks to the Barreau Hotel Group. And what's more, and not wanting to get people, you don't want to jinx anything, David, and put the cart before the horse. Starting next week, we begin our competition to give away tickets to the AFL Grand Final.
What about that?
AFL Grand Final tickets. We're going to be giving away here on 5AA Breakfast.
All week.
There'll be clues, there'll be fun, but importantly, there's tickets, there's flights, and there's accommodation as well. It all starts on Monday. So plenty riding on the game tonight, but stay tuned to 5AA in all the build-up.
Reflecting on that chap that Jay just spoke to, back in my... Funny how so many Americanisms creep their way into the English language, because back in my day, that synonym for barracking that he used only meant one thing in this country.
I didn't hear what he said.
That's right.
And obviously it doesn't bear repeating.
That's right. A synonym for barracking from the United States.
Big thanks to our American friends for that. Hey, if you want to be part of Feedback Friday, get calling now, 8223 0000. You can win yourself $100 worth of Samtaz seafood or a Wallace Cinema family pass. Everyone walks away a winner. It's very simple. No wrong answers. Feedback Friday. Call into Sam and Lucy and we'll jump into it next.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
18 and partly cloudy today. With the 8:30 news, I'm Jess Adamson.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
A Plympton Park business went up in flames overnight. Prema Osborne from the MFS says they were called to Bray Street after reports of smoke and flames coming from a building.
The structure was one building with multiple businesses, and due to the quick response by the MFS, they were able to contain the fire to the commercial property, protecting all neighbouring businesses. Fire investigators have attended, and structural damage is approximately $35,000, with the cause being investigated by SAPOL.
And there was a lucky escape for some Mannum residents overnight after a house fire. The blaze caused about $400,000 damage to the Charles Street home. The cause is being investigated. 3 Ukrainians working for the Red Cross have been killed. As the BBC's James Waterhouse reports, they were about to deliver wood and briquettes in the war-torn region.
This certainly looks like a severe situation. 2 people have been injured, 3 killed. A team from the International Red Cross were giving out coal and fire to a village which really is close to the front line. And when you're within 10, 20 kilometres, there's always the looming threat of either drone or missile attacks or artillery strikes as well. It's a reminder of the risks. The Kremlin has yet to respond. It's not being reported inside Russia on state TV there, but it's certainly a bleak day for those humanitarian teams that continue to work in really quite dangerous parts of the conflict zone.
Coastal drownings have reached their highest level in 2 decades. Surf Lifesaving Australia data shows 150 people drowned last year. The latest report suggests many swimmers don't know how to identify a rip and are also visiting unpatrolled beaches. An employee and a punter are being accused of rigging roulette games at a Sydney casino. Sophie Clark explains.
Strikeforce detectives have reviewed security footage from inside the Star. They allege the pair was working together to illegally obtain $25,000 in winnings. The 23-year-old man would allegedly move the bets after a roulette result to make sure it was a winner for the 22-year-old man. Police say the rigging occurred on multiple occasions between September and October last year. Both men have been ordered to attend court in November.
Scam victims could receive compensation from banks, telcos and social media companies under proposed reforms. The federal government is announcing new laws which would require businesses to do more to protect customers. Those who don't comply could be fined up to $50 million. Skin patches could soon replace needles for the delivery of vital vaccines. A patch half the size of a stamp is about to be tested in Melbourne to see if it can safely deliver a needle-free vaccine for bird flu. The Australian invention has tiny prongs that give a vaccine dose directly below the skin surface. The number of women freezing their eggs for IVF has doubled in just 2 years. Gabrielle Hodson has more.
Data collected by the University of New South Wales shows almost 7,000 women across Australia and New Zealand froze their eggs in 2022, up from just 3,600 2 years before. Experts have told SMH The Age that IVF is changing, with greater rates of success, more fertility preservation and more non-traditional families taking it up. Among women choosing to freeze their eggs for future use, 38% did so for non-medical reasons, such as not having a partner.
Now turning to 5AA Sports.
Visit gliderol.com.au and see how you could win during their Colorbond Steal the Show promotion.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jesse. Let's start with Footy. Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinkley says he's not worried about the Hawks players potentially targeting Zach Butters and his injured rims in the semi-final at Adelaide Oval tonight. Butters suffered a rib injury and was subbed out during the Power's qualifying final loss to Geelong last week. Port has made 2 changes to its side, with Todd Marshall and Josh Sin coming in for Ryan Burton and Jed McEntee. Meantime, it's been revealed GWS coach Adam Kingsley asked all cameras to be turned off for a specific 10-minute section of his side's match simulation yesterday as they prepare to face Brisbane tomorrow night. Let's go to tennis. Australia's won 2 matches in its Davis Cup tie against the Czech Republic. Craig Gabriel has more.
The 2 singles matches could not have been more of a contrast. One went the distance while the other barely made the starting line. Thanasi Kokkinakis said it was a bit of a frustrating match for him against Jakub Mensik, and he should have won in straight sets as he served for the match. But it went to a decider before Kokkinakis won 6-2, 6-7, 6-3. Alexei Poprin played 1 game and had won that when Tomas Marshak pulled the pin and quit for the second day in a row.
And the Aussies wrapped it up with a win in the doubles also to clinch the tie 3-0. Let's go to some soccer now. The Matildas will contest their last 2 matches of the year in Victoria. The Tillies will take on Chinese Taipei in friendlies at Amy Park and Geelong in December. Meantime, Adelaide United's recorded a 2-1 win against the Western Sydney Wanderers in the Australia Cup quarter-finals, the winner coming in extra time. And American David Lipsky holds the outright lead deep into the opening round of a PGA event in California. He's in the clubhouse at 7 under, while Aaron Baddeley is the best of the Aussies back at 4 under. Minwoo Lee is still out on the course and is currently at 2 under. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Crayfus West, a breakdown on the freeway up track, seeing delays after the tunnel. Strike Creek, a smash on the north-south motorway near Globe Derby Drive. Northfield, Burst Waterway, Green Junction Road near Rowe Avenue, speeds at 40, the left-hand lane closed, and busy at Edwardstown for Works Cross Road near Railway Terrace. Cameras Addison Road, Pennington, and Everard Avenue at Keswick. 10 years warranty on Miele, now at Harvey Norman, Adelaide's kitchen and laundry appliance specialist. Shop in-store or online. Don't miss 10 years warranty on Miele now at Harvey Norman. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
If you can't remember the last time you had your brakes checked, let Automasters test your brakes before you have to.
18 and partly cloudy today, partly cloudy and 17 tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Sunday. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hey, hun.
Yes, dear?
Why is the mower by the back door and the blower vac and the edge trimmer?
Well, the weather is great and I want the lawn and garden looking like a brochure.
But they could all use a service before I can do that.
And you have just one job. Load them in the SUV and get them serviced at Stanford Mowers.
And then?
Feed up, hun. The backyard is all mine this weekend, baby.
Stanford Mowers for servicing. 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross. StanfordMowers.com.au.
You loved live music growing up. It was sweaty and loud. You loved your job. It was hard but rewarding. And now you love being able to slow down and spend time with family. Can you hear the ones you love? If you're over 26, you can book a free hearing check at Audica. Call 1300 460 460 or visit audica.com.au. Love your ears at Audica.
Bigger, better, leany, meeny, money, mo, and flower. You're the chosen one.
Pick your favourite Kia. From the award-winning Kia Sportage to the street cred delivering Kia Seltos, or Kia's most powerful car ever, the all-electric EV6 GT. Book a test drive today to find your chosen one. Find out more at kia.com.au or drop into your nearest Kia dealer.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Ready to step forward and make a difference? CMAX Clinical Research is seeking healthy volunteers aged 18 to 65 to join a research opportunity in muscular health. CMAX is trialling a potential new treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy and needs your help by participating in the study. Spend 3 nights at CMAX and attend 1 follow-up visit. After completion, all participants will be paid for their contribution and time. Interested? Register your details at cmax.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
20 to 9, if you want to be part of Feedback Friday, you can get calling right now, 8223 Lucy's ready to take your call, and we're ready to give you $100 worth of Samtas seafood to get you through the weekend. Otherwise, you'll get a Wallace family pass. Lots of Dutton's text with some of the more remarkable skills you've ever heard being told to us today in aid of our Meat Tray Friday question. In fact, Helen suggests on the strength of the calls thus far, we need to be giving away 3 meat trays.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure that's what the people at Hayden's Family Butcher there in Burnside Village signed up for, but Helen,
we're not trying to send them
sentiment.
bankrupt.
Fred says
they got a business to run.
Fred says if it's a skill, then teaching young children to tie their shoelaces is his special ability. Thank you for that, Fred. We have another from Denny who says my husband can remember the car registration of every car he's had, and he's had quite a few cars in his time.
Really?
That's a good one. And Rob says a gift I have is I can name every time I won an argument with my wife. It was just once, May 13th, 1996. I had, in fact, put the dishes away. Thank you for that, Rob.
Feedback Friday today, so have you say feedback.
All right, let's give away some fish. Rounding out the week in the traditional way with Feedback Friday. John has called in. John, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, John.
John, we're good. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, the big debate this week. Who won?
It depends on your viewpoint. I didn't see a lot of it. A lot of the media said she won, but the little bits I saw, I thought he made some good points. So it's hard to say. But
It's fair and balanced of you, John. Have you been sent, John, an AI-generated image or video this year?
Probably, but most of the stuff I get sent, I just delete anyway.
These days, you wouldn't even know if you had been.
No, I think some of them you can still tell, but I just dump them. Who cares? Yeah.
John, do you think tonight's Ken Hinkley's last game as coach of the Port Adelaide Football Club?
I don't really give a toss. I feel a bit for him personally, but go the Hawks. That's all I'll say, and I don't even barrack for them.
Clearly don't barrack for Port. King Charles got hugged by the New Zealand Black Ferns this week. They said to him, can we give you a hug? And the whole team of the girls decided to give him a giant group hug after he said yes. You a hugger, John?
Not really.
Doesn't surprise me, John, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
If I hug someone, it usually means I want to do something else. But we won't go there.
Thank you. I mean, it is Feedback Friday, I guess. There's no limit on the amount of feedback, clearly. The New Adelaide University stated they're going to be ditching in-person lectures. Are you, John, in the same career that you were in when you left school? Did you stay in the one line of work your whole life?
No, I've had a myriad of different jobs.
You're still working now, John, or have you?
So, John, you didn't want to give us any information about your jobs, but you wanted to elaborate on your romantic overtures.
Unfortunately, I am still working. I'm trying to retire, but it's a little way away.
No, that was good. Thank you, John.
Good on you, John.
That's right. You just never know what's going to happen in Feedback Friday. Quinton, good morning.
G'day, fellas. How you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. So, Quinton, Koshy told us he was at a conference and he couldn't come on this week, and then he popped up on Sunrise with his port gear on. Did he duck us?
Oh, absolutely. Big sook.
Okay, thank you. What do you think the age limit for creating a social media account would be? The state government says 14. Federal government are looking at around 16. What do you think?
Oh, I don't think it matters what they say. The kids are going to doctor it anyway. So there's no way of stopping it. I've got a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old, and they're both on it, and they're fine. It's us trying to, stop them a bit. But we can't stop them. They're going to go on there.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I work in some high schools as well, and they're all on it. TikTok's a big one, so not much you can do about it.
Quentin, Lucy panned The Graduate this morning. You a Dustin Hoffman fan?
Absolutely, he is fantastic. Lucy has no idea, sorry.
Cop that, Luce.
Yeah, Luce.
She's the most fearless movie critic in movies history. Dustin Hoffman, of course, has been referenced a few times this morning. A few of our listeners doing a good impersonation of Rain Man. Now, Quentin, do you care about the result in the US presidential election?
The best comedy that's been on for the last 12 months? No, not really. I don't think it really matters to my day-to-day life on which lunatics in charge.
There was a good text yesterday from, I think it was Sue in Henley or Sue in Christie's, I'm not sure, but I was saying Trump didn't seem funny, he seemed angry in this debate, but Sue made the good point that his comment about the border, when he said, we could go to the White House now and wake Joe Biden up and get him to sign a law.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was a good line.
Quentin, the Sandford prelim this weekend, Sunday Arvo, Adelaide Oval, Glenelg Central. When was the last time you went to a Sandford game?
I haven't been to one this year. I went to one last year. I had planned to go to the grand final this year and see the mighty Double Blues, but shattered.
Yeah, a few of us had made similar plans, mate.
Yeah,
sadly,
no good.
the last time I went to the SANFL was last Sunday at 12:15.
All right, feedback in number 3. Dave, welcome to the program.
Morning, boys.
The 50th City Bay Fun Run is on this Sunday. You a City Bay Fun Run participant?
No, but I actually do remember the first one. It was, I've never done it because I've got pretty crooked knees and, not a big runner. But, I do actually remember the first one because I saw the thing the other day and I thought, wow, 50 years, where's that time gone?
Amazing, isn't it?
Well, spring is officially here. You a hay fever sufferer?
No, fortunately.
Don't need to get on the, what's it called?
No,
Zantac?
No, all good that
Claritine?
way. Just the old arthritic bones are the ones that get me.
The Adelaide City Council revealed yesterday, we revealed, should we say, on Breaking It 8, that the Adelaide City Council are going to support a day whereby some of the city is blocked off for the car-free city initiative. There'll be no cars allowed in the area. Do you think that's a good idea to promote environmental awareness?
Well, when they're trying to get people back into the city for business and other things, anything that keeps people out of the city, I think, is not a real great idea. So, no, not really.
We had a story this week about food that purports to be healthy but is in fact not. And it went to that code that's on the back of all food products, the nutritional info on the back. Do you read the nutritional info on anything you eat, Dave?
I do. I actually especially read the nutritional info on things I drink to see calorie levels, sugar levels, all that sort of carbohydrate stuff, trying to watch my health as I get older. And the only thing is, they make everything so small that you just about need a magnifying glass to read it. So
I am with you, Dave.
Pointless. They should just have a big 3-tick system that goes 1 tick, good, 3 ticks, that stuff.
I am at the age now where cooking instructions, like I bought some couscous the other day, instant couscous, spit it out. I couldn't read the pack to work out, so I had to take a photo of the pack and then zoom in to work out how long I need to steam a couscous for.
Who do we like for the $100 Samtas seafood voucher?
I'll do this randomly. Pen will hit the paper. Quentin has won.
There we go.
Hard to split them, really.
Quentin's the winner.
It's all very scientific here.
The always scientific method of the pen hitting the paper.
Pen hitting paper.
John and Quentin, you've got Wallace family passes coming your way.
No, so Quentin won, so John and Dave.
John and Dave have got the Wallace family passes coming their way. Congratulations to you. We still have a Meat Trader Award. We'll do that very shortly. Some Dutton's Techs also in the near future. But first, let's check traffic. Thanks to Luba House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Still seeing delays today at Crayfors West with our breakdown on the freeway up track. That's after the tunnels. Northfield, Burst Watermain, Crane Junction Road near Rowe Avenue, speeds at 40. Slow as we speak at Paynham. That's for those works. Portrush Road near Rosella Street. And look out for cameras this morning. Everard Avenue, Keswick. And got one right now. Stonehouse Ross Avenue at Camden Park. The Glenelg BMW sale event ends Saturday with savings equal to the GST. Secure your ultimate driving machine from Glenelg BMW. T's and C's apply. LMCT 8953. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings, a community forum being held in Whyalla on Sunday with concerns over the future of the steelworks in the town at the top of the agenda and the possibility of job losses looming. We'll look at new legislation to protect us from scams. And Adelaide Remembers When today with Bob Byrne. Lots coming up between 9 and 12. Tickets to Hooked on Swing to give away as well. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. SA's own Respirico Healthcare has been supporting South Australians for 20 years. Our goal is to make a positive difference in people's lives with our daily living range. Aids to help with small tasks around the house, to mobility scooters and custom wheelchairs. We also have pressure care beds and mattresses, hoists and lifters, recliner chairs, compression garments and more. Everything you need to maintain your independence and stay active in the community. That's how you start making a positive difference. Respirico Healthcare, 6 stores across SA.
Living with diabetes? Ditch finger pricks with Freestyle Libre. Freestyle Libre is a small wearable sensor that monitors your glucose levels and trends and sends them straight to your phone. Instant up-to-date feedback, no finger pricks. How good is that? And you can trial Freestyle Libre for only $15. Just head to freestylelibre.com.au to find out how. T's and C's apply. Follow directions for use. Read warnings before purchase. Free yourself from finger pricks with Freestyle Libre.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriotpa. It's SA's newest Mazda dealership, and it's having its first clearance sale. Save thousands on new and demo Mazda CX-5, BT50, CX-30, CX-60. In fact, the whole Mazda range. Experience the difference in the Barossa with outstanding service, a great range of vehicles, state-of-the-art new facility, and you'll see why Barossa Mazda is well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
Specsavers do hearing aids. That's surprising. But here's the real surprise. Our prices on high-tech hearing aids are also surprisingly low. Visit us online and compare today. Specsavers for high-definition sound at low Specsavers prices.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across MY24 range. Petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 9, giving away a meat tray in just a moment. Had a look at Fuel Watch, though, and this is a headline this morning. I'm not sure we've ever had fuel this cheap and this plentiful in the long history of the Fuel Watch segment. Members save on RAA Solar. RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. There are 3 servos across Adelaide this morning where you can get petrol for under $1.50. The X-Convenience Main North Road, Jeps Cross, $1.49.9. The X-Convenience Edmund Avenue, only $1.49.9. And the BP St Bernard Hectorville is at $1.49.9 as well. Diesel too, under $1.70. You can get it at the X-Convenience Main North Road Prospect for $1.68.5. Now, what makes that interesting? It's not as though that generally speaking it's cheap. There's a lot of places that are in the $1.90 range, but there are a slew of them around this morning for under $1.50. If you see it there, well worth your time to fill up. If you want some ideas for what to cook for dinner tonight, well worth your time to tune in to Stacey Lee just after 3 with Chris Jarmer from Jarmer's Kitchen for Footy Friday. Thanks to Smeg or Powell's. If you're building or renovating, your first choice, you'll be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg and Powell's. Should we do a couple of Dutton's texts?
I love that segment. Absolutely fantastic. The excellent Jarmer's. Such a good spot, isn't it? Someone, here we go. Someone, Andrew, said, I noticed yesterday that my local national pharmacies has got tickets on sale for the SANFL. Good on them for doing that. You can get them at the gate, but they're cheaper if you get them in advance. A lot of the people springing to the defence of Dustin Hoffman after Luce's withering review of The Graduate. What did she give it? 1.5 stars.
1.5. She equated it. She said it was a similar viewing experience to Days of Thunder and what was a movie review first. Never have those two films been compared before.
There's a few people who are texting in as well to defend Days of Thunder from Lucy's attack on that. I suppose you'd have to technically say the worst review she ever gave was Mad Max, where she just stopped watching it.
Yes.
So that got a, DNF, didn't it? Did not finish. Another picture. This one's sent in from Gavin of a hawk attack in his backyard at O'Sullivan's Beach. Unbelievable. And that is another goshawk. They're amazing looking birds, aren't they, Will?
Oh, yeah, they are terrific. I could hear you go on about them all day.
Well, luckily for you, we're almost out of time.
The Birdman, of course, the inspiration for the Meat Tray Friday question this morning. Our resident stats man, Ben Jordan, texted in and said he can't outdo Jim from earlier, but his specialty, of course, is stats. He provides stats to our program every morning. He says, on Test cricket, not one draw in Australia from 1882 to 1947. He says, I won't come on air, though, to give you all 88 results.
You know, a lot of blokes can do that. I've got a couple of mates, they sit there and they'll say, that was the innings where Laxman and Dravid batted through the entire day, and at stumps it was none for 326 or something. Or they'll remember what Collingwood got, but then what Warren's figures were. I'm sure there's blokes listening now who are going, yeah, well, everyone knows that, surely. It's sort of like your brain becomes like a portable version of Wisdom, doesn't it?
For totally useless information.
Like, I struggle to remember who we played last year, though. In the cricket.
I admire anyone who can say that, 2012 he won the premiership, and I watch every game of footy all year, and it's not information that I ever retain.
What about that day we were talking with Tom Wren about the 05 Swans West Coast Grand Final, and he knew the score in real radio time.
That's
He
right.
just straight away knew it.
But as this morning's Meat Trays demonstrated, we've all got the useless, we've got all that useless information stored up.
Yes.
And it's going to win someone a whole stack of meat.
So look, to the point Helen made about how we really need to give away 3 meat trays, we're obviously not going to hit up the great people at Hayden's Family Butcher, Shop 52 in Burnside Village for 3 meat trays. We're only going to award 1, but we are also going to award 2 other lesser prizes, because there were 3 callers that we had today who were so hard to split. Warwick, first off the bat, with his wonderful call about the Olympic Games, being able to remember not just every Olympics, but also the original planned host cities for Olympics that had to be cancelled on account of the 2 world wars. And then also Trevor in Seaford with his superb off-the-bat chronological account of all of the Magarey medals from the 1960s to the 1970s. But Jim in Fulham Gardens, absolute, just, polymath, US presidents, American, every country in Africa, every US state capital. So what we are going to do is we're going to give Warwick and Trevor 5AA Breakfast Show mugs. Can't get them in stores. You'll be members of a very exclusive club owning them guys. But Jim in Fulham Gardens, great call and a great message too. Great story about the day he couldn't find his coffee cup.
Yeah, it was.
And he went, I better start giving the old melon a bit more of a workout. And we saw the benefits of that this morning. So thanks, Jim. It was a wonderful call. They were all wonderful calls. And you're the winner, thanks to Hayden's Family Butcher.
When we return on Monday morning, one of 2 big footy stories will be developing. It'll be either the fallout from a second consecutive year of Port Adelaide going out in straight sets, or they'll be building up to a prelim final against a side they've had a remarkably good record against in recent years, with the eyeing off a grand final berth. Huge footy story, whichever way tonight's game falls, on Monday that we'll be taking you through, and we'll be starting our build-up for giving away AFL Grand Final tickets. It starts on Monday.
Got to listen every day next week, folks, to be in the running. It's going to be huge.
Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you